Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hey wife, did you know that Anchor is sponsoring our show?
Really? Don't we use Anchor to distribute our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, and we are on just about every other platform available as well, thanks to them.
Why do we use Anchor as our podcasting service?
Well, they make editing and distributing our show a breeze.
What if one of our listeners wants to start their own podcast?
Then they should head over to anchor.fm or download the app to get started.
Awesome! You guys should go do that right now! Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened on Friday?
If I recall correctly, I think Amasa was trying to amass an army and then he lost his fucking head.
I mean, there was more to it. That did happen, yes.
Right, yeah.
Joab killed him because Amasa was taking too long, and then we found out in our Q&A on Saturday that Joab suspected that maybe Amasa was like conspiring with Sheba, who is who they were after.
Right, yeah.
And then so they went to go get Sheba, and they were going to wipe out this whole town, but this wise lady was like, wait.
And we'll hand the fucker over.
Yeah, and so they tossed his head over the gate.
I mean, that's a smart move on their part, in my opinion.
And so then they went home with the head, and we're like, we got him.
Yeah.
We did it.
Well, you know, the lady at the wall got him.
Yeah. I mean, he's done got.
Yeah.
And then we had minutes of a office report of
that was... Well, they've done it a couple of times now, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's a way just to, like, inform us of the important people in his administration.
Right, yeah.
But it's boring to us because we don't give a fuck, and I'm like, you're not as important as you think you are.
Yeah, it's thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And nobody gives a shit anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Maybe somebody does, but I sure as hell don't.
It ain't me, babe.
All right, so that was 2 Samuel chapter 20.
It was.
And today we are going into
2 Samuel chapter 21, and we are going to finish 2 Samuel this week.
Amazing.
That
is really cool.
I know.
All right, well,
Thursday will be our last episode of 2 Samuel.
So cool.
Right?
All right, well, let's get this week started then.
Okay.
All right.
All right, 2 Samuel chapter 21.
All right.
I could read you the headline, but I'm not gonna. So, we don't know what's happening.
No clue.
But it is not a continuation of the minutes. That was just that two sentence
thing.
Yep, it's a new thing.
One into a new section.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's a famine.
There's a famine?
During David's reign that lasted for 3 years.
That would indicate to me God's not on their side.
So David asked the Lord about it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right.
Did you read ahead?
No, I didn't read ahead.
Wow.
I mean, famine to me means God's not on your fucking side.
Well.
So why is God, fucking him over with a famine?
I guess David's going to ask him about it and be like, hey.
What's up, man?
And the Lord said.
Yeah.
The famine has come because Saul and his family are guilty of murdering the Gibeonites.
Saul's dead, man.
I don't remember who the Gibeonites are or why we should care that Saul killed them.
Right, but why is David's people paying the price for what Saul did?
Because God always does a random overarching punishment of all y'all motherfuckers.
Until he doesn't. And then he decides all of a sudden you're going to reign for life until next week.
Reign for life until next week. That was great. It's so true. But more often than not, he punishes collectively. He does not reward collectively very much.
At least, for sure.
So the king summoned the Gibeonites.
Okay.
They were not part of Israel, but were all that was left of the nation of the Amorites.
They were the giants way back when, weren't they?
The Gibeonites?
No, the Amorites.
The Amorites?
Weren't they?
Were they?
I can't remember.
I can't remember if that was the Amorites or the Ammonites.
Or the Amalekites.
Oh, I think it was the Amalekites.
It's one of those A guys.
You know how I am when things start with the same letter. They all turn into the same thing.
Got it. Well, anyway, there's those people.
So, yeah, the Gibeonites are part of the Amorites.
But I thought God was trying to help them defeat them at one point.
That's what I thought, but apparently he was not thrilled that Saul killed them.
Okay.
Who fucking knows? I don't fucking know.
I can't keep track of all his, like, what you want me to do and what you don't want me to do and who you told what to do and what not to do. And
it's almost like the God of the Bible is fickle.
Sure feels that way.
The people of Israel had sworn not to kill them, but Saul, in his zeal for Israel and Judah, had tried to wipe them out.
Got it.
I might have to go back and do a little bit of what on that.
This might be a Q&A type thing, because I kind of forget what...
I don't remember Saul hardly at all at this point.
I mean, yeah.
We're in his second book, and I'm like, Saul who? Who's Saul?
We're not in Saul's book.
Oh, yeah, you're right. See, I did it again. Samuel, but Saul and Samuel both start with an S, so what did I do?
Yeah,
See?
Right.
Fuck me. David asked them, what can I do for y'all? How can I make amends so that you will bless the Lord's people again?
Right.
Well, money can't settle this matter between us and the family of Saul, the Gibeonites replied.
Okay.
Neither can we demand the life of anyone in Israel.
Okay.
Sure, okay.
So, what do you want? Barley? You want fucking goats?
What can I do then? David asked.
Can I wash your fucking feet? What do you want?
Just tell me, and I will do it for you. Then they replied, it was Saul who planned to destroy us, to keep us from having any place at all in the territory of Israel. So let 7 of Saul's sons be handed over to us, and we will execute them before the Lord at Gibeon.
There's 7 of his fucking sons left?
On the mountain of the Lord.
I thought, like, all of Saul's people died.
That's what I thought.
Remember when David was looking for some of Saul's descendants?
Yeah.
And they found Mephibosheth or whatever. Right, yeah.
The guy with the broken feet.
It's like the only guy left that I knew of.
Yeah.
Other than his daughter that he, married and
right.
doesn't think anything of.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Where are they going to come up with 7 fucking sons?
I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, there they are.
The king said. I'll do it. The king spared Jonathan's son Mephibosheth, who was Saul's grandson.
Into grandsons. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of the oath David and Jonathan had sworn before the Lord. That's nice. I'm glad he remembered that. But he gave them Saul's 2 sons, Armani and Mephibosheth, whose mother was Rizpah, daughter of Aiah.
Wait, he gave him Mephibosheth?
I thought...
That's the... Wow.
He spared Mephibosheth, but he gave them Mephibosheth. I don't understand.
What? No, I thought he said... No, that's not who he spared.
The king spared Jonathan's son Mephibosheth.
Oh.
Who was Saul's grandson.
Oh, okay.
Because of the oath David and Jonathan had sworn before the Lord. But he gave them Saul's 2 sons, Armani and Mephibosheth, whose mother was Rizpah, daughter of Aiah.
Apparently there was more than one Mephibosheth.
I guess there was. And I'm glad that he said, I'm glad that they made that clear. Like, he spared Mephibosheth, but he did give him this other Mephibosheth who had all these other relatives.
Yeah, that's not confusing at all.
No.
Right?
He also gave them the 5 sons of Saul's daughter Merab, the wife of Adriel, son of Barzillai from Mahola.
Okay. I feel like we didn't meet any of these people before.
I feel like they probably listed them and we were bored.
Maybe.
Kind of like I am now.
There is that possibility.
The men of Gibeon executed them on the mountain before the Lord. I mean, could you imagine, here, sorry, you have to go die now.
Right?
So that the Lord will raise up this famine.
Yeah. No, that sucks.
Like, could you imagine, like, we're just walking around and then some random leader, like the president or something, walks up to you and is like, I'm really sorry, but you have to die now.
Yeah, your grandpa was this person and we gotta, you're dead.
Yeah, so, sorry.
Yeah.
It is what it is, brah.
Right.
So all 7 of them died together at the beginning of the barley harvest.
Oh. Yeah,
just in time for a barley party.
They missed out on the barley party.
Womp womp.
Because, dead.
Then Rizpah, daughter of Aiah, the mother of 2 of the men, spread burlap on a rock and stayed there the entire harvest season. She prevented the scavenger birds from tearing at their bodies during the day and stopped wild animals from eating them at night. Okay?
So they didn't even bury the bodies? They just left them out the rock?
There, I guess.
Jesus.
And she covered him up with burlap.
I feel like that's a little
rude.
Harsh and yeah.
It's rude.
Right?
When David learned what Rizbah, Saul's concubine, had done, he went to the people of Jabesh Gilead and retrieved the bones of Saul and his son David.
Okay.
Okay, parentheses voice ready?
Yeah.
When the Philistines had killed Saul and Jonathan on Mount Gilboa, the people of Jabesh Gilead stole their bodies from the public square of Beth Shan, where the Philistines had hung them.
I do remember that.
End parentheses voice.
Yeah.
So David obtained the bones of Saul and Jonathan, as well as the bones of the men the Gibeonites had executed. Then the king ordered that they bury the bones in the tomb of Kish, Saul's father, at the town of Zelah in the land of Benjamin. After that, God ended the famine in the land.
Well, that was nice of him,
Considering that there was a lot of murdery bullshit.
He just needed to let those people kill 7 people for no real reason.
Right.
Other than they were related to somebody.
Yeah.
And then God's
okay with it.
To
stop murdering an entire nation in a famine.
It totally makes sense. You just got to kill people for no reason to stop a famine that you were doing for no reason.
Yeah.
That makes total, complete sense.
I'm on board.
I'm not.
I'm kidding. So that section was the avenging of the Gibeonites.
Okay. Yep.
Now we're moving on to the next one. Oh, I wish I didn't read that headline. Oh, this is going to get good. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Hold on to your butts.
Yeah.
It's going to get big.
Big, huh?
After this, there was another battle against the Philistines at Gob.
They're always at fucking war.
They are always at fucking war.
Right?
As they fought, Sibbecai from Hushah killed Saph, another descendant of the giants.
Oh, see?
Got big.
They're still around.
See?
Yeah.
During another battle of Gob, at Gob.
Those fucking giants never go away.
They never die.
You know?
They never
But
die.
they said descendants of giants, so it's no longer giants.
They're merely tall.
They're just descendants of giants.
They're merely 9 foot tall.
Right. They might have been giants.
They might be giants, but they aren't anymore.
Right.
Yeah. During another battle at Gob, Elhanan, son of Jair from Bethlehem, killed the brother of Goliath of Gath.
Oh.
That's
the brother of, yeah.
No,
Wait, what?
He killed Goliath of Gath. Oh, he
Oh,
killed the brother of Goliath of Gath.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting because this is the other side of that story.
No, this is the brother of Goliath of Gath.
Right, but what I'm saying is this story coincides with the other one, and so there is thought that it's actually not the brother, that this guy actually killed Goliath.
I might want to look that up because I thought that actually happened in an entirely different book in the Bible.
I'm thinking it's this one.
I would double check that because I think
Okay.
that might be wrong.
Okay.
So.
No. The handle of his spear was as thick as a weaver's beam! Exclamation point.
Thick as a weaver's beam?
Mm-hmm.
The fuck is a weaver's beam?
As thick as a dick? I don't know. I don't know.
I have no reference point for a weaver's beam.
Okay, well, think of a beaver. Think of a beaver and his ween. Think of a weaver.
What the fuck are you even talking
What's
about?
a weaver?
Oh, I don't know.
He weaves.
I don't know.
He weaves.
I'm gonna look up what a weaver's beam is because I'm very curious.
I'm thinking it's like you have a loom, right? And you weave on it, and then the beam is like a stick, and it's clearly very thick, but the spear is thicker than that.
Oh, weaver's beam is like the cross piece that you hold your
at the top of the loom.
Your thing that you're weaving with at the top of the loom.
Right.
Of course.
But that's kind of what I said. Beam. I said it's probably part of the weaving.
Well, I was busy Googling when I was looking it up.
I'm literally telling you based on the words what it means, and you're like, look it up though.
But I've literally never heard the term weaver's beam before.
No,
I'm like, where would I have heard that at?
I have never heard it either, but I'm just like putting it together like, well, they were weavers, they had looms, and so there would have been, a
beam that goes across the top. Right, sure.
Sure.
And that's what it was.
And it was fucking thick, and this guy's spear was thicker than that.
That's crazy.
In another battle with the Philistines at Gath, they encountered a huge man with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. And we both had the exact same Princess Bride thought.
Exactly. My name is Inigo Montoya.
Oh my god, you do that every time.
I know. I'm sorry.
You always fuck it up.
But they killed my father.
You prepare to die because his name is Inigo Montoya. Inigo Montoya. Yeah. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Got it. Okay.
I want my father back, you son of a bitch.
Right.
Yeah. They encountered that huge guy with the six
toes
digits.
and the 6 feet and the hands and shit.
Who was also a descendant of the giants.
Oh my god.
What?
No way.
But when he defied and taunted Israel, he was killed by Jonathan, the son of David's brother Shemiah.
Awesome.
These 4 Philistines were descendants of the giants of Gath, but David and his warriors killed them. The end.
You think that's the last giants we'll hear of?
Hell no.
Like, they were supposed to be like this short little bit, and they were going to wipe them out, like, completely.
And then
they just keep popping up everywhere.
Just kept happening.
They're, like, everywhere in the fucking Bible. I'm like, there's giants everywhere.
And that section was called The Giant Slain by David's Men.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as we also discussed, I think, was it in the last Q&A that giants was just a name for, like, people that were really hard to beat in battle, basically.
Yeah.
Like, they just were
Most
really
likely.
adept fighters, basically.
Right, because the word that they use is Nephilim.
Right,
and
right.
Nephilim probably meant, like, hardcore warriors. Definitely not angels or giants.
I mean, to me, that makes a lot more sense.
It makes so much more fucking sense.
Because giants, come on now.
Come on now.
That's bullshit.
Get the fuck out of here with
right?
that.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. So that's that.
That's that.
I'm very excited to see where we go from here.
I am too. I mean, we've only got so many more things
3
before we get to the end of this book, so it's gotta like get really good here, right?
Go out with a bang.
We gotta go out with a bang.
I mean, we are ending on giants. That's not bad.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll find out more tomorrow when we get into today was 2 Samuel chapter 21, and tomorrow we'll be getting into
2 Samuel chapter 22.
And we will see you guys then.
We sure will. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
As I recall, there was a famine, and David was like, yo, God, what's up? And then God was like, Saul. And then David was like, so, like, have them kill, like, 7 of my dudes. And then they were like, cool. And that was basically it.
But there were also giants?
Well, they might have been giants. I can't not. You know, I it's like one of my favorite bands. So.
They might be giants.
Yeah.
Also, it turns out I was right and you were wrong.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Do you want to explain it or shall I?
I honestly don't remember exactly what I was wrong about. I tend to put those things out of my brain, so.
Yeah, I can see why. It turns out that I was correct that this was the other part of the David slew Goliath.
Yeah.
And
no, you were right.
Yeah, what had happened is that in a lot of the translations, including this one, they say that this, what is his name? Starts with an E. That's the only way I remembered it. Elhanan. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of them, the new translations will say that Elhanan didn't kill Goliath. He killed Goliath's brother.
Got it. But he's actually probably the one that killed Goliath, if that actually happened.
That tall guy, the 9-foot tall guy.
Right.
Yeah.
At least the original story would have been him killing Goliath.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Okay.
I was right. You were wrong.
Yep.
The end.
Nope. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how I remember, because I knew that the other guy that was part of that story, since we hadn't got to him yet, I just tucked his name away, but I couldn't remember his name other than it was like L something.
Right.
And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, there's the other part of the story. There he is. So we've now completed that circle.
All right. Well, I got one thing to mention here before we go into the podcast.
What is it?
And that's that we have a new patron.
What?
Yeah. Their name is Erica C.
Erica!
And they're from Malaysia. I was like, what?
I know. I
That's
was like,
crazy.
Where's Malaysia? And then we had to look it up because I don't know the map, and I apologize
I knew it was over somewhere like in the South Pacific.
You did, and then when we saw it, we were like, oh, that makes sense, because it's by, like, Indonesia and stuff.
Yeah, but that was really cool. They sent a great message, and we really, really always appreciate the support. Like, I mean, it just means so much to us that people care enough to help us out and help contribute to the podcast. So
it really does. Thank you so much, Erica. I really appreciate your help and your support. Like husband said, it means everything.
Yep. All right. So that was. So we're leaving 2 Samuel chapter 21
and going into 2 Samuel chapter 22.
All right. We'll see you guys in the podcast.
Yeah. okay, I don't normally do this anymore.
No?
But going into 2 Samuel chapter 22,
Yeah.
I really feel like I have to read this headline just as a preparation.
Oh, okay.
Of sadness.
That worries me.
Well, it normally, we've decided not to because it's spoilery, but I feel like this one is less spoilery and more just settle in for a second here.
Okay. All right, yeah.
David's Song of Deliverance.
Fuck.
Right? Take a breath.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, you just can't tell it's a song in the Bible. Like, we've tried to work this out, and we just haven't found our rhythm with it yet, so to speak.
So to speak.
But, yeah, so David's Song. It's a song.
Song of Deliverance.
Yeah, Song of Deliverance. That's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
Okay.
And I just wanted you to be able to...
mentally prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It looks like it's going to be a little bit...
I'm mentally preparing for this.
Okay, here we go. David sang this song to the Lord on the day the Lord rescued him from all his enemies and from Saul.
Wait, Saul's been dead for a while, right? So is this, I mean, like, he's still fighting people now. Saul died a while ago. Is this like at the end? I'm not sure where this falls exactly.
Nope, who knows?
Okay.
They stuck it in there.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right, whatever.
Yep. I mean, all of a sudden we're talking about Saul again.
Fucking song.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
He sang, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress and my savior."
I mean, that's actually got to,
right?
You can make
my
that
God is my rock, in whom I find protection.
Oh, yeah, this has it's got something to it, yeah.
He is my shield,
Mm-hmm.
the power that saves me.
Yeah.
Am I doing okay with this?
This is good stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And my place of safety. He is my refuge, my savior, the one who saves me from violence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is going good, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
I think. I mean, probably won't play so well in the podcast.
Wow. Y'all know me by now.
Yeah.
I called on the Lord, who is worthy of praise.
All right, yeah.
And he saved me from my enemies.
Yeah, he did. I guess. I guess. Yeah, hypothetically.
The waves of death overwhelmed me. Floods of destruction swept over me.
Did they?
They did, apparently.
I thought he destroyed other people.
He did.
Most of the time.
He did.
So how do they flow over him?
I don't know. I'm just trying over here.
No, I'm just curious.
The grave wrapped its ropes around me. Death laid a trap in my path. I mean, this is just words and words and more other words.
Right? Yeah.
But in my distress, I cried out to the Lord. Yes, I cried to my God for help. I don't know the words ahead of time, so I don't know where the beats are, so I'm just having to kind of,
No, I got you.
this is me winging it.
I don't really feel like he cried out to the Lord for help so much as when things were going, I mean, I guess when things were going wrong, and he was like, yo, dude, what's up?
Yeah.
But that was like the only, he didn't like.
I don't think he was like, God, please help me.
I think he felt like he had things under control until he didn't.
And then he was
yo,
what
dude,
the fuck?
What's going on?
Yeah, that's the difference. That's what I was trying to say. I don't think that he was saying, dear God, you're awesome, please help me. I feel like he was saying, what the fuck, my guy? Shit is going down.
Right, yeah.
Like in an arguey, you owe me, I'm David, remember, with the hair?
Yeah, the hair.
Yeah. He heard me from his sanctuary. My cry reached his ears.
I mean...
That's what happened. His cry reached his ears.
God has ears. So we now know that God has ears, apparently.
I mean, we are made in his image, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Or some shit like that.
But you remember when they said in, was it Genesis, where he smells with his nose, or what was it? He tastes with his nose.
He tastes
That's
with
right,
his
because he
nose
tastes with his
holes.
nose. So
yeah.
I guess he still hears with his ears.
Horton heard a who.
Yeah.
Then the earth quaked and trembled. The foundations of heaven shook. They quaked because of his anger. Smoke poured from his nostrils.
Well, why was he angry? What was he angry about?
I don't know. I'm still singing.
The only thing he was angry about Saul, I guess, killing the Gibeonites.
Look, I'm just reading the words here, okay?
No, I know. I'm
Fierce Flames leaped from his mouth.
From
Glowing coals blazed forth from him.
Fire from his mouth?
Fire from his mouth.
Wow.
Yeah, and coals and
I didn't
shit.
think you could even see God, so like the fact that there's fire coming from his mouth, that's a revelation.
Okay, this is a song I feel like you're being too literal.
I am, because it's fun.
He opened the heavens and came down. Dark storm clouds were beneath his feet.
Okay.
I'm still going.
Yeah, I know.
It's still song.
I know. This is tragic.
I kept hoping it would be done.
Yeah, I did too.
Mounted on a mighty angelic being, he flew, soaring on the wings of the wind.
Wait, he was mounted on an angelic being?
Mm-hmm.
But it was wind. So the wind is a being. Okay.
He shrouded himself in darkness, veiling his approach with dense rain clouds.
Those rain clouds, they always cover God up, you know.
You
I
like them.
I can't see them because of those rain. The rain clouds always block my view of God.
Wait. Winnie the Pooh. What did he sing? He sang something about the rain clouds and honeybees and tut tut looks like rain.
Right.
Damn it. Okay, I'll think of it later.
Okay.
Winnie the Pooh.
Because we need another song. Is that what we need?
Yes, Winnie the Pooh. He sang a great one. Tut tut. It looks like rain.
Yeah.
A great brightness shone around him, and burning coals blazed forth. The Lord thundered from heaven. The voice of the Most High resounded.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. He shot arrows
He shot arrows?
and scattered his enemies.
What the fuck does he need arrows for? He's God.
His lightning flashed, and they were confused.
Because lightning always confuses me.
Then at the command of the Lord, at the blast of his breath, the bottom of the sea could be seen.
Got some serious halitosis going on, huh?
And the foundations of the earth were laid bare. What?
Man, that's some bad breath.
Well, the foundations of the earth.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is so...
Really stupid.
It's like poetry, but not good enough.
Right.
He reached down from the heaven and rescued me. He drew me out of deep waters. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
He rescued me from my powerful enemies, from those who hated me and were too strong for me.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just going here.
I mean,
okay?
at one point, pretty much everybody hated him, from what I understood. So
because he was a dick.
yeah, I mean,
David.
I don't think
was
that's
a
changed.
Dick.
He's still a dick.
David
but,
is a dick.
Whatever.
Yeah. They attacked me at a moment when I was in distress, but the Lord supported me.
Breaking it down.
I am breaking it down.
Hell yeah.
He led me to a place of safety. He rescued me because he delights in me.
I wonder how many subscribers we're gonna lose today.
But he's saying...
Yeah, no, I got it.
He delights in me.
Yeah.
That's why he saved me. He
Okay.
delights in me.
Got it, yeah.
Yeah. The Lord rewarded me for doing right. He restored me because of my innocence.
His innocence?
Yeah, I'm so
How many
innocent.
fucking wives does he have?
All
And
my wives and
how many
my
people has he
concubines.
fucking killed?
Yeah,
Innocence?
I'm innocent.
Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him. For I have kept the ways of the Lord. Except for that whole fucking business. Don't pay attention to that. I have not turned from my God to follow evil, except for all the sex I had, and all the wives I had, and all the concubines.
Wasn't there a thing that said that gods, or not gods, but that kings or people are not supposed to have multiple... Like, that was a thing from God, right?
Yeah, don't have too many.
And
he didn't specify what too many was.
Right, but come on, David's got too fucking many.
He's got too fucking many.
However many it is, it's too many.
It's too many, because not even all of them were his quote-unquote wives.
Right.
He had 10 of his concubines, meaning he had
Right.
more.
Yeah.
But 10 he left behind.
Right, that's what he could spare.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what he could spare. Whatever.
How many wives can you spare, darling?
0.
I have followed all his regulations, except for that one.
Right.
I have never abandoned his decrees. I am blameless before God.
Is he?
I have
That's
kept
awfully...
myself from sin.
You know, like, I would say that Moses was a lot less blameless, or a lot more blameless than David is.
I would agree with you on that.
And Moses got fucked.
He did. He did.
Fuck David on that.
Yeah, fuck David.
He's not right here. This is not correct.
He's a liar.
He's awfully pompous for singing this fucking song.
He's like, I'm awesome.
Right? And if I was God, I'd be like, dude, fuck you.
Stop singing.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. The Lord rewarded me for doing right. He has seen my innocence.
They're big on the innocence here.
I'm
it's
so
like
fucking innocent.
They're bringing this bit. They're trying to make him sound all good. All of it.
They're really big on innocence, and they keep what now?
Bouncing.
They keep bouncing.
Like they're bouncing between. He does shitty things like kill people and what have you, and then now they're like they want to be like he's all perfect and wonderful and shit. So
that's because all the Jesus-y people descended from him.
Right.
And so they're like, look how great he is, even though he did all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
But still, he's pretty
it's
fucking
just like,
great.
This is like the song's like a advertisement for David.
Like, well, I'm just like, who are you trying to convince? Because I read it.
Yeah.
I read it, my
right?
guy.
Right.
To the faithful you show yourself faithful. To those with integrity you show integrity. To the pure you show yourself pure.
Such great writing.
But to the crooked you show yourself shrewd.
What? Okay.
Shrewd.
Yeah, shrewd.
When somebody's crooked, he's like, I'm gonna be
shrewd.
shrewd at you.
Yeah.
You rescue the humble, but your eyes watch the proud and humiliate them.
Dude, does he?
No.
No.
No, he doesn't.
No.
No. Oh, Lord, you are my lamp.
Do you remember that guy he killed because he wanted to fuck Bathsheba?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Where does he get off
innocent!
Where does he get off saying this shit?
I'm innocent!
Fuck this bullshit.
Will you cut me off, though?
I know, I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord, you are my lamp. That's a thing.
Yeah, okay.
They say that in churches and stuff.
Do they?
Yeah, that's
Lord's
like a whole...
my lamp?
Yeah.
Got it.
He lights up your feet and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you never heard that?
Not really.
It's a church thing.
Okay.
Talk about God is my lamp and
That's great.
He lights the path before my feet or some shit like that.
Yeah,
that's
he
where
carries
it came
you sometimes
from.
and sometimes not. And whatever.
No, that's a different. That's the footsteps in the sand prayer thing. That's not even from the Bible. I think.
I know.
In your strength, I can crush an army. With my God, I can scale any wall.
How many walls did he have to scale?
I don't think he had to
I don't remember any
scale
scaling walls.
He may have scaled some, but it didn't make it into the Bible.
Right, maybe he was just doing it for fun to see if he could.
God's way is perfect.
Is it?
All the Lord's promises prove true. He is a shield for all. Look to him for protection. For who is God except the Lord? Who is God except the Lord?
He's I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, he's nobody. So, whatever.
Who but our God is a solid rock?
That's why God got so pissed at Moses. He was beating that rock, and he was a solid rock.
He's like, I'm a solid rock, bitch.
He was beating God. That's what happened. Yeah.
Solid as a rock. What song is that?
I can't remember now. Oh. You got me on the spot here.
It's an 80s song.
You sure it wasn't just like a commercial or something?
No. It's an 80s song.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
God is my strong fortress and he makes my way perfect. Perfect.
Okay. Perfect.
Perfect. Sorry, I scrolled and so then I had to play it off.
Got it. Yeah.
He makes me as sure-footed as a deer, enabling me to stand on mountain heights.
Oh my God, you're going to piss off our listeners here with your screams.
Look, the cat doesn't like it either. She's like, Mother,
doesn't.
Stop.
Yeah.
He trains my hands for battle. He strengthens my arm to draw a bronze bow.
A bronze bow?
Yeah, I almost said bow, but then I realized it says bronze bow.
Got it.
You have given me... I like how sometimes he's like God over there, I'm singing about him. And then sometimes he's like, just kidding, I'm looking right at you, and I'm singing to you.
A bronze bow would seem pretty impractical to me.
It would.
It's pretty heavy. Like, why would you want a bronze bow?
I don't want any bow.
Okay.
Unless it's the kind of bow that goes in my hair.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, I agree. You have given me a shield of victory. Your help has made me great. You have made a wide path for my feet to keep them from slipping like those hospital socks.
Not what it says.
No, but that's what I was imagining.
Okay.
You know,
yeah,
keep
the grippy socks.
Yeah, the grippy socks.
Those are
They're
good
the
socks,
best. Don't lie. I always keep them, and you do too, don't you?
Yeah, because you're the grippy socks.
The hospital grippy socks.
Yeah.
If y'all go to the hospital and you get hospital grippy socks and you didn't bring them home.
It's the only good thing to come out of a hospital with
it. I'm either calling you a liar or stupid.
Right, yeah.
You get those socks and you bring them home and you wear them around the house.
Yeah, the grippy socks.
The grippy socks.
Mm-hmm.
I chased my enemies and destroyed them. I did not stop until they were conquered.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so boring.
True. It's really boring.
Okay, I consumed them, I struck them down so that they did not get up, they fell beneath my feet. You have armed me with strength for the battle, you have subdued my enemies under my feet. Oh, so much shit about feet. You placed my foot on their necks. I have destroyed all who hated me. They looked for help, but no one came to their rescue. They even cried to the Lord, but he refused to answer. I ground them as fine as the dust of the earth. I trampled them in the gutter like dirt.
Man, he treats people badly.
Very badly.
He's like, I'm going to kill you really bad.
Really bad.
Not just kill you, but kill you really bad.
Can this song be over yet? Please, please,
hope.
God, please. I'm praying, please. You gave me victory over my accusers. You preserved me as the ruler over nations. People I don't even know now serve me. Foreign nations cringe before me. As soon as they hear of me, they submit. They all lose their courage and come trembling from their stronghold.
Why is he always fighting people?
I don't know.
Doesn't sound like they all cringe before him.
No.
Some of them are like, no, we're fighting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all fighty.
Right.
They don't seem very scared.
Yeah. And then there was that one time that David ran away.
Right?
From his son.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, this song is bullshit. The song itself is bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
One paragraph left. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. The Lord lives! Praise to my rock! May God, the rock of my salvation, be exalted!
Yeah.
He is the God who pays back those who harm me! He brings down the nations under me and delivers me from my enemies. You hold me safe beneath the reach of my enemies. You save me from my violent opponents. For this, O Lord, I will praise you among the nations. I will sing praises to your name. I'm trying. Shit, man, I ain't a singer. I'm just trying to do some
do something with it. Yeah,
I'm trying to make it less boring.
Right.
Okay, because if I read this straight through, we'd be like,
right, that'd be boring.
Whereas instead, I'm coughing all the way through it, and you're editing out my coughs because I do not sing.
Yeah.
Okay, one last go. Ready? You give great victories to your king. You show unfailing love to your anointed, to David and all his descendants forever. The end.
Okay.
Whew. That was rough. That was so rough.
That was really bad.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
I think you're probably talking about the book, and I'm talking about my singing.
Well, it was a little of both I was talking
about.
Both.
Bit of both. Yeah. I won't do that again.
Well, yeah, I mean, we got whatever. It was fun. Maybe
we'll
find out tomorrow when we listen
new.
to it. It's too late to, go back and redo it anyway. So
I mean,
you guys get what you get.
We had to try something a little different here, and
right. We've done all kind of shit. We did a beat that one time.
Oh,
that was fucking horrible.
That was fun though. That was better.
You think? I didn't think it was better.
Well,
I thought
I
that was
mean,
shit.
me making up just various la la la, loo, boo boo da pop pop. You think that was better than the beat?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I thought that was all right.
Oh, well,
It was all right, you know.
I mean,
I'm just saying, it wasn't horrible, maybe.
You know there's more songs in the Bible.
Fuck those songs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm the one that's got to read them.
Right,
so
yeah.
That's why I'm asking you now. Like, get in your head what you want me to do with the songs henceforth. Because I've tried 2 different ways, and they both suck.
Maybe we should ask our listeners. Do you guys have any suggestions on how to handle stupid Bible songs?
Yeah, because this is killing me, man.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Right, yeah. It's draining.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, because I have, like, breathing issues right now, and so this is hard.
Right. Okay, well, that was 2 Samuel chapter 22.
And we are going into 2 Samuel chapter 23, and hopefully there will be no more song there.
Hopefully, yeah. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Husband.
Wife.
I know you remember what happened yesterday.
Singing.
There was lots of singing.
Lots of singing.
David was singing to God.
Oh.
And I was trying to sing it the best I could.
I thought he was singing about tooting his own fucking horn.
That's what he was doing.
So.
He was trying to convince somebody that he was innocent.
I think he was trying to convince himself, personally.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really fucking dumb song.
It's
so
like...
You did as good as could be expected, I think. You know, you did a decent job.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. It made me feel like in the movie Chicago, where at the beginning they're like going through their whole, pop 6, blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the one that's innocent, and she's all, nuh-uh. And that's David, except that David's a liar, whereas the girl that's saying nuh-uh was actually innocent.
Right.
So. Actually, I guess that was a poor comparison, but mostly I just wanted to, say...
Talk about Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, I know, that movie's so great.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
I do.
That one in Moulin Rouge, holy shit. I love musicals.
I know.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, so that was David's song or something like that?
Yeah, it was David's song, yeah.
And that was 2 Samuel chapter 22.
Mm-hmm.
And today we will be reading 2 Samuel
chapter 23.
All right, let's go do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, so 2 Samuel chapter 23.
Okay.
Second to last chapter of this fucking book.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to read the headline because the headline is also the first line.
Okay.
So it's not
Fair
giving
enough.
anything away.
It's only giving away the first line?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, it's called The Last Words of David.
Okay. So these are the last words of David.
And that's literally the first sentence. These are the last words of David.
I'm psychic or something.
Or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that would be giving away too much.
Don't tell anybody. The people in town might stone me to death.
Oh my God. No, because if it comes true, then it's of God. You're a prophet of God. You're a prophet of God.
No thanks.
I'm going to call all your friends, and I'm going to tell them all that you're a prophet of God.
No, whatever.
Yeah. David, the son of Jesse, speaks. David, the man who was raised up so high. David, the man anointed by the God of Jacob. David.
God, they're so full of him right now. Like, this is such bullshit.
Psalmist of Israel.
Psalmist, oh my God.
Yeah. He's a psalmer. He's psalming right now.
Yeah.
The Spirit of the Lord speaks through me. His words are upon my tongue. The God of Israel spoke.
Where's this shit coming from?
I don't know.
Like, this is just, like, not congruent with the entire book so far. It's like a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I
They're
don't
like,
know.
let's poetry the fuck out of this motherfucker at the end.
I guess.
Or something.
It's like they realized, oh shit, we said a lot of bad stuff about him. We got to pretty it up right quick, because didn't, like, Jesus descend from this ass hat?
Right. Maybe if we see enough nice stuff now.
They'll just forget what came before.
Exactly.
Yeah. The Rock of Israel said to me, the one who, I know, the Rock of Israel.
That's God, right?
Solid as a rock. Yeah, that guy.
Right.
The one who rules righteously, who rules in the fear of God, is like the light of morning at sunrise.
What?
Like a morning without clouds. Like the gleaming of the sun on new grass after rain. Jeez.
Do they think they're fucking Maya Angelou? Maya Angelou? Is that how you say her name?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm like, what's going on here?
I don't know. They're rhymey pantses without the rhyme.
Right?
Is it not my family God has chosen? I'm so awesome. Everybody lick me. I added that.
Yeah, no shit.
Is it not my family God has chosen? Yes, he has made an everlasting covenant with me.
But he broke it like 3 days after he made it, and then he made it again. So, like, whatever, fucker.
His agreement is arranged and guaranteed in every detail. He will ensure my safety and success. But the godless are like thorns to be thrown away, for they tear the hand that touches them.
Okay.
Don't be touching those thorns.
Yeah.
I have a rose bush out front, and I don't take care of it at all, and it keeps blooming and growing, and it is beautiful. And I got to get out there and pull some vines that keep trying to drag it down.
Yeah.
And I'm going to touch it.
Right.
And guess what?
What?
Even if it pricks me, it's okay, because I'm not evil, and there's no magic.
Right.
So it's all good.
That's true.
One must use iron tools to chop them down. I'm not going to use iron tools to chop them down.
What did they do when it was the Bronze Age? They didn't have iron then.
But that's not who he's singing to.
Oh, okay. All right.
They will be totally consumed by fire.
Okay.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And that was the end of that little bit.
Great. Okay.
Oh, and now I'm going to tell you the name of the next one.
Because is it like the first sentence?
It's the first sentence.
Okay.
Again, okay. David's Mighty Men. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
These are the names of David's mightiest warriors.
Okay, now we get to list off people. Fun. I know you love, as much as I love, how much they love listing people in the Bible.
So I might be buzzing through this. Let's see.
Okay.
The first was Jashobeam the Hachmonite, who was leader of the three mightiest warriors among David's men. Ooh, he once used his spear to kill 800 enemy warriors in a single fucking battle.
Damn.
I call bullshit.
Right?
No,
I
he
agree.
did not. Next in rank among the three was Eleazar, son of Dodai, a descendant of Ahoah. Once Eleazar and David stood together against the Philistines when the entire Israelite army had fled.
Yeah.
This sounds like
that was
Gladiators.
Okay. Right, yeah.
He's naming them off, so I gotta, use that over voice.
The announcer voice?
The announcer voice, yeah. He killed Philistines until his hand was too tired to lift his sword, and the Lord gave him a great victory that day. The rest of the army did not return until it was time to collect the plunder. Next in rank was Shammah, son of Agi from Harar. I cracked myself up on that one. One time, the Philistines gathered at Lehi and attacked the Israelites in a field full of lentils.
Because that's relevant somehow.
It's as important as a barley party.
Right, yeah.
The Israelite army fled, but Shammah held his ground in the middle of the field and beat back the Philistines. So the Lord brought about a great victory. Once during the harvest, when David was at the cave of Adullam, the Philistine army was camped in the valley of Rephaim. The three, voice, who were among the 30, an elite group among David's fighting men.
These are like the Marines of the Davids. Okay.
Went down to meet him there. David was staying in the stronghold at the time, and a Philistine detachment had occupied the town of Bethlehem.
Oh, no.
David remarked longingly to his men, "Oh, how I would love some of that good water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem." I decided he's got a prissy voice.
Is that what you decided?
So the three broke through the Philistine lines, drew some water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem, and brought it back to David.
You know what? Fuck David for sending them after some fucking water.
I need water real bad.
They made them go kill people to go get water.
Yeah.
Are you
Risk
kidding
your
me?
life. I need water more than
That's
you.
some bullshit.
Yeah. But he refused to drink it. Instead, he poured it out as an offering to the Lord.
Like, seriously, dude, fuck you.
Yeah. That would piss me off. I gotta tell you what. I'd be like, but okay.
Right?
Oh. The Lord forbid that I should... Oh, wait, I did the wrong voice.
Oh.
The Lord should forbid that I should drink this, he exclaimed.
Because you were an asshole to send them in the first place.
Mm-hmm. This water is as precious as the blood of these men who risked their lives to bring it to me. So David did not drink it. These are the examples of the exploits of the three. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, brother of Joab, was the leader of the 30. He once used his spear to kill 300 enemy warriors in a single battle.
That's nothing. The other guy did 800.
I know.
Man.
Wimp.
Right?
It was by such feats that he became as famous as the three. Abishai was the most famous of the 30 and was their commander, though he was not one of the three. Womp womp.
Well, because the three killed like 800 with the one guy did, at least. So.
I know.
And they brought water from Bethlehem, so.
We can't all be
they're
three.
fucking awesome.
We can't all be three.
Right.
Some of us has to be 4, 5, and 10.
Yeah.
You know?
17 even. I don't know.
There was also Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, a valiant warrior from Kabzeel. He did many heroic deeds, which included killing 2 champions of Moab.
But he was not one of the 3.
Nope. Another time, on a snowy day, he chased a lion down into a pit and killed it. Once armed only with a club, he killed an imposing Egyptian warrior who was armed with a spear.
As opposed to the non-imposing Egyptian warriors.
He killed one guy.
Right.
He killed one guy.
He was imposing.
But he wasn't a giant.
No, but imposing, though.
But how is that different from any other fucking warrior
That's
you're facing off
really
against?
kind of my question here.
Like, so,
That's a stupid comment.
I mean, like, okay, this sounds like I'm saying, so you killed a guy, so what? And I don't mean it that way because obviously, you know, if you came up to me and said, I killed a guy, I wouldn't be like, you killed a guy, one guy, so what?
Yeah.
But in Bible language, okay?
And when we're talking about other people that killed 300 and 800 people.
Yeah, you killed one fucking
dude,
guy.
You know? Like,
get over yourself. Man. You are, no wonder you're not a 3.
Imposing what? The other guys that had these weapons weren't imposing?
Right? Get the fuck out of here. Benaiah wrenched the spear from the Egyptian's hand and killed him with it! Okay. Deeds like these made Benaiah as famous as the 3 mightiest warriors. He was more honored than the other members of the 30, though he was not one of the 3. And I cannot repeat that often enough. Just in case you were wondering, he was not, I repeat, not one of the 3.
Right, so he's not quite that famous, but he's like, there's like tiers. There's the 3, and then there's him, the other ones, and then there's the rest of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
So, there's the 3, and then there's him, and then there's 29, and then there's the rest.
Right. Apparently, those other ones didn't care. I mean, like, sounds like they didn't kill hardly anybody. They
killed nobody. They were nothing.
They were a guy and a lion.
They were worthless.
And I'm almost as famous as the 3 who killed 300 and 800.
I never get to be the 3.
Why can't I be the 3?
I would love to be the 3.
Fuck the 3. They're assholes.
Does one get elected to be a 3? I would love to be a 3. I'm taking signatures now so that I can be a 3. Can I be a 3?
No.
What about MoveOn.org? I have got the petition. And now I would like to ask, may I please be... You know what? I think that this vote was stolen. I am a 3.
No.
And David made him captain of his bodyguard.
Okay.
Other members of the 30... Oh, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Other members of the 30 included Asahel, Joab's brother, Elhanan, son of Dodo from Bethlehem, Shammah from Herod, Elika from Herod, Helez from Pelon, Ira, son of Ikish from Tekoa, Abiazar from Anathoth, Sibbecai from Hushah, Zalman from Ahoah, Merharai from Netopah, Hilid, son of Banah from Netopah, Ithai, son of Ribai from Gibeah, in the land of Benjamin, Benaiah from Pirathon, Hurai from Nahelgash, Abiaban from Arabah, Asmaveth from Bahiram, Eliabah from Shalban, the sons of Jashan, Jonathan, son of Shagi from Harar, Ahiam, son of Sharar, from Harar. Eliphalet, son of Shuspai, from Makah. Eliam, son of Ahithophel, from Gilo. Hezro, from Carmel. Parai, from Arba. Oh, Jesus God. Dryer sheet from the dryer. Water from the faucet. Igal, son of Nathan, from Zobah. Bani from Gad. Zalek from Ammon. Naharai from Beerah.
What the fuck was that?
I lost breath.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, The armor bearer of Joab, son of Zeruiah. Ira from Jatir. Gareb from Jatir. Uriah the Hittite.
Okay.
There were 730 and 30. There was an odd number in all. 37.
37.
There was
not 30.
No.
There's 37.
And not 730 either.
Not
which
730.
Is what my dyslexic brain
But they
was
started
trying
saying, they said it's the 30, and then it turned
plus
into...
3.
Plus, okay.
Which would be 33.
Right.
Plus David would be 34. So there's
would
3
they
unaccounted
count those
for.
other one, like, but why would they call them the 30?
Right.
Like,
There's
I thought the 3 were part
for.
of the 30.
Oh, you know
what
what?
they said.
Oh, okay. So maybe then, if there were 37, maybe there's David plus his 30, including the 3, makes 34, right? Or no, makes 31. Sorry. So that's 31, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the other 6 were like just his admin staff.
Okay.
You know, they got named the last couple of chapters ago.
Okay.
Maybe it was the 6 of them.
Well, because one of them definitely was a leader, it said, so...
Oh, I don't fucking know. I'm just...
whatever.
I'm trying to...
Maybe they just were like, it's somewhere between 30 and 40, let's just call them the 30, and it's like an elite group.
I mean, I really like rounding numbers to the nearest 5. So
Right.
I'm okay with this
But they
plan.
rounded the wrong way.
They did.
If, we're rounding.
Yeah, they did.
So.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Just saying.
Very odd.
Right.
Yeah, because 37, that's
Plus,
not...
they like the number 40 a lot better in the Bible, so why didn't they go with 40?
Why didn't they just name it 40?
Right.
So
It's called
weird.
the 40.
The 40!
Yeah, but no, it's the 30 apparently.
The
30,
it's the
30
odd,
to 37.
weird number that we don't really have any... Yeah, what? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's a code.
Who gives a fuck?
It's a code, didn't you know?
There's people, and they were apparently, badass warriors, and David's supposedly really awesome now.
Suddenly.
And, whatever.
Yeah, he was never attacked and he never did anything wrong ever.
Right, he's perfect.
He's beautiful and I love his hair.
All right, well, anyway, that was 2 Samuel chapter 23.
Sure as fuck was.
And tomorrow will be 2 Samuel chapter...
24, the final chapter of 2 Samuel.
Do you think it's got... Samuel?
Samuel.
Yeah, sorry.
Sandals. Samuel. I'm having problems.
Yeah, I hope... it feels like it's going to go out on a poetic bullshittery.
I know.
And I'm kind of disappointed.
I
in
am
it,
too.
So I'm like, this is some crap.
This is like when you're reading a book or watching a movie. Oh, it's like Lost, right?
Right.
Which made no fucking sense the whole way through, right? But you're waiting for it to tie up, so you're like,
right.
Okay, I'm in.
Like,
I'm in.
surely this is going to be fantastic.
And
right?
then it doesn't tie up anything at all, And then you find out and it was all a dream, and that's what this is. This is like, and he was beautiful, gorgeous, and the dew on the grass, and the sunshine, and rainbows and shit.
And his 30 warriors were the best.
The end.
Whatever.
Like, what?
Okay.
No, you get back in there and you write that ending to Lost. you get back in that writer's room. I don't care that you painted yourself in a corner. That's not my fucking problem.
Right.
You did that.
Right.
You did that.
All right, real quick before we wrap this up today, I want to throw out one thing that I want some people to do for us.
Okay, do this.
If you are, I know I mention this every time at the end of the episode in our exit, but if you were listening, outro, whatever. Sorry,
yes,
that thing. But if you were listening to us on Apple Podcasts, I really need some of you to go leave us some reviews. Because we had somebody leave us a bad review.
What?
I know, right?
No, for real. What did it say?
I don't know, that we were some copy of some other fucking atheist podcast that I've never even fucking listened to.
But I'd have to listen to it to copy it.
Right. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Look. I'm not interested in religion, so I don't listen to other podcasts about religion.
Us reading the Bible is enough. Like, we're reading the fucking Bible. I don't need to hear somebody else read the fucking Bible.
No, seriously.
And we started it initially, we're like, we're going to do this without getting ourselves tainted with any other religious stuff. We're just going to jump in and start fucking reading.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to, like, copy somebody else if somebody else was doing this.
Yeah.
So, like, we're like, let's just get in there and do it. And I think we're pretty fucking unique, goddammit.
But you know what? Even at that, no, somebody else is reading the Bible?
Right.
No.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's never been done in all of history. Nobody's ever read the Bible. Like, I don't think you got the copyright on that, my guy.
Right? Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh,
anyway.
Well, I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm copying somebody, but I guarantee that no matter what, nobody sounded like that last episode of me singing.
Right? Yeah, they can't touch that shit.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. You totally need to leave us a review.
Yeah.
For that.
Please.
No, boy, maybe not that. But, you know, I mean.
I mean, be forgiving. Be nice.
Right, yeah. All right, anyway, I think that's it. We're heading to the last chapter of 2 Samuel. Tomorrow, 2
Samuel.
Chapter 24.
Chapter 24.
We'll see you guys then.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
David and the, people there, they think a lot of David now. Well, and David's like, his shit don't stink, apparently, at the end of this book.
Thinks a lot of David.
David thinks a lot of David, yeah.
He's like, God chose me!
And David thinks his shit don't stink.
Yeah.
So.
And then he named his 30.
Yeah, that was actually 37.
Ducks. Yeah, his 37 something, Mighty Ducks.
Whatever the fuck they were.
Yeah.
And the 3. But then there's not the 3.
Right.
There's the 3, and then there's not the 3.
And then, yeah.
And then there's the rest of them.
Yeah.
The 37 that are the 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. I got that down? That is good? Okay.
That's exactly what happened. Yep.
All right. So that was 2 Samuel chapter
23.
And today is the last one in the book, which is 2 Samuel
20, chapter 24.
All right. Let's do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, 2 Samuel chapter 24.
Okay. I feel like we're getting towards the end of this book, and when we get towards the end of books, people die. I'm just saying,
my gosh.
It's just my hypothesis
Are
that
you
somebody's
saying
going to die.
You think David's going to die?
It's a possibility. I mean, like, how else do you move on past David, right? David's got to die.
I don't know. We're still in the book of Samuel, and he been dead.
Right, but we're not moving on to the book of David, so, I mean, like, David's got to go.
But we're moving into the book of Kings, of which David is one. He might live.
Well.
You don't know.
All right, I guess it's possible.
You don't know?
No, I don't know. I really don't know.
All right.
So it's just my guess at the beginning of the episode here. I'm going to say it now. Okay. I think David dies.
Damn.
I'm just saying, that's my, if I had to take a bet right now, I'd say David dies.
You took a left turn. Jesus.
I'm just saying.
I was not, I'm not saying I don't think that. I just, that's not where I instantly would have gone.
Got it. So I'm just basing this on history of books.
You're right.
That we've read.
In the Bible.
Not
just, books in general.
Right, not books in general.
Okay. So, 2 Samuel chapter 24. Once again, the anger of the Lord burned against Israel.
What happened? What the fuck they do now?
And he caused David to harm them by taking a census.
Wait, what
fucking
the fuck?
Census?
Harm them by taking a census.
You know how those censuses, they stab you like needles.
Okay.
Peeling off your fingernails. Those censuses.
But we started off, we went from David shit don't stink for 2 chapters straight, a song about it, and then fucking just poetic bullshittery.
He pissed them off.
And then now
David
they
sucks.
done bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
David sucks.
And now we're doing a census apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go and count the people of Israel and Judah, the Lord told him.
That'll show them. Those fuckers.
I'll make them count. God damn ya.
Right? They didn't like it in numbers, but I'm going to do it again in this one. Yeah.
So the king said to Joab and the commanders of the army, take a census of all the tribes of Israel, from Dan in the north to Beersheba in the south, so I may know how many people there are.
Because, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this is punishment, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
It's
It's got to be there, right?
Terrible news.
Something.
Counting is hard.
Yeah, but it's not like everybody's got to count, just like Joab and his leaders or something.
But Joab replied to the king, may the Lord your God let you live to see 100 times as many people as there are now. But why, my lord the king, do you want to do this?
Yeah, why?
But the king insisted that they take the census. Because God told him to.
I think nobody wanted to do this, and he's like, God told me, because we're bad. Yeah. And that's why we got to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got to have a good reason, you know?
Right. He can't just say, because I want to plan for the next famine, stupid.
Well, it's a lot easier if somebody else told you to do it, you know?
It's true. Pass the buck.
Yeah, I'm just passing on a message, guys. Yeah, we just got to do this shit.
We just got to do it.
Suffer through it, man.
Yep. So Joab and the commanders of the army went out to count the people of Israel. First, they crossed the Jordan and camped at Aror, south of the town in the valley in the direction of Gad.
Okay.
Then they went on to Jazer.
I'm guessing they're counting as they're going through, huh?
Then to Gilead in the land of Tatim Hodshi. Okay. And to the Danjan and around to Sidon.
Great. They're counting.
And they came to the fortress of Tyre.
Are we going to fucking name every goddamn city in Israel?
And all the towns of the Hivites and Canaanites.
Okay, well, at least they're generalizing now. Somewhat.
Those don't matter.
Those ones, yeah.
And those Canaanites
guys over there.
You know those ones, yeah. Finally, they went south to Judah as far as Beersheba, having gone through the entire land for 9 months and 20 days.
Jesus, you could have had a kid in that amount of time. They got to start over again, you know?
I was just thinking that, yeah.
Right?
They returned to Jerusalem. Joab reported the number of people to the king. There were 800,000 capable warriors in Israel who could handle a sword, and 500,000 in Judah. This is just the dudes.
That's a lot.
This is just the dudes
that's
of
all they
warrior
ever count.
age.
That's all, they only ever count the dudes.
So 800,000 plus 500,000 soldier-age men.
Right.
Which is what?
1,300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I was like 8 plus 5 is 13. And then my brain just wouldn't add the zeros and commas. It's like, I had the 13. Okay. But after he had taken the census, David's conscience began to bother him. I hate that I made them count.
Right?
Why, God,
What
why?
is this shit? Okay.
Why are they acting like a census is
weird?
Bad?
Yeah.
And he said to the Lord, I have sinned greatly by taking this census.
What?
I don't... this is our Q&A here.
I'm fucking... Baffled. Yeah, what is going on here?
And I thought it said that God made him do it.
God wanted him to do it. This is the punishment for them being bad.
Right.
Or something.
I'm clearly confused. Please forgive my guilt, Lord, for doing this foolish thing. The next morning, the word of the Lord came to the prophet Gad, who was David's seer.
Oh, so what happened to Nathan? Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess there's another question.
Gad and Nathan, yeah.
Yeah.
This was the message. Go and say to David, because I can't fucking tell him myself because I'm just God.
Right, yeah.
This is what the Lord says. I will give you 3 choices. Choose one of these 3 punishments and I will inflict it on you.
For what, though? What the fuck is going on here?
For doing the thing that he told him to do.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
That's what I understood.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, whatever.
Okay, let me just make sure. I'm going to go back and read the first sentence.
Okay.
He caused David to harm them by taking a census.
Okay, so God, he is God.
Yeah.
God, caused David to harm them by taking... Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So it was God that made him do this, and now he's going to punish him for doing it. Is that...
That's what it sounds like to me.
What is this exactly?
I'm wondering if this is like a translation thing where our translation maybe sucks. I don't know.
Or just God being stupid again.
Probably that one.
You know,
I choose that.
Me
that
too.
is the Pokemon I am choosing.
Seems to be the constant in this Bible-y thing, you know?
Okay, so we got to find out what the 3 choices are.
Okay.
And choose your punishment.
Like a choose your own adventure, only choose your own punishment.
So Gad came to David and asked him, will you choose 3 years of famine throughout your land?
Jesus.
3 months of fleeing from your enemies? Or 3 days of severe plague throughout your land?
I'm going to go with... I don't fucking know.
I don't either.
Plague sounds best, I guess. Like, just hunker down, guys. Like, yeah, just...
3 days. Sorry for everybody who dies.
I don't know.
I don't fucking know either, because... Whatever.
Right.
Think this over and decide what answer I should give the Lord who sent me. I'm in a desperate situation, David replied to Gad. But let us fall into the hands of the Lord, for his mercy is great. Do not let me fall into human hands. So the Lord sent a plague upon Israel that morning, and it lasted for 3 days. Good call.
I chose the plague, yeah.
Yeah. A total of 70,000 people died throughout the nation.
Jesus, they're going to have to redo that fucking count they just did.
Mm-hmm. From Dan in the north to Beersheba in the south. But as the angel was preparing to destroy Jerusalem, the Lord relented and said to the angel, the death angel, I sneezed. Mm-hmm. But as the angel was preparing to destroy Jerusalem, the Lord relented and said to the death angel, "Stop! That is enough!" At the moment, the angel of the Lord was by the threshing floor of Araunah, the Jebusite.
Okay.
When David saw the angel, he said to the Lord, "I am the one who has sinned and done wrong, but these people are as innocent as sheep. What have they done? Let your anger fall against me and my family."
Well, I still don't get what is going on.
You sinned how again now?
Right?
I mean, you suck. I don't disagree with you.
Sure, yeah. No, I mean, there's many things prior that we could have been like, yeah, you're fucking horrible.
This.
But, like, counting people...
The census?
When God told you to count the people...
That's what sent God over the top.
This is sounding like the Balaam story, you know? Like, God told me to go, but then he stopped me without telling me he stopped me, and then I was going to die for it, but then I realized because my ass talked to me. Like, it's just stupid shit. Like, what is this?
It's bullshittery is what?
Yeah, it is.
That day, Gad came to David and said to him, "Go up and build an altar to the Lord on the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite." So David went up to do what the Lord had commanded him. When Araunah saw the king and his men coming toward him, he came and bowed before the king with his face to the ground. "Why have you come, my lord the king?"
Please tell me not to kill me.
I know, right? "Please don't take my head." David replied, "I have come to buy your your fleshlight." What? your threshing floor, and to build an altar to the Lord there so that he will stop the plague.
Okay.
"Take it, my lord the king, and use it as you wish," Araunah said to David. "Here are oxen for the burnt offering, and you can use the threshing boards and ox yokes for wood to build a fire on the altar.
There you go.
I will give it all to you, your majesty.
Yeah.
And may the Lord your God accept your sacrifice."
Your sacrifice? You're the one fucking giving it to him.
Mm-hmm. But the king replied to Araunah, "No, I insist on buying it, for I will not present burnt offerings to the Lord my God that have cost me nothing."
Right.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. So David paid him 50 pieces of silver for the threshing floor and the oxen. David built an altar there to the Lord and sacrificed burnt offerings and peace offerings. And the Lord answered his prayer for the land, and the plague on Israel was stopped.
Oh, boy.
The one that was only supposed to be 3 days. And after 3 days, it was going to stop. But then he was like, "Please don't go past 3 days. Please stop." And God was like, "Build an altar and then I'll stop," even though I already just said 3 days.
Right. Yeah. It didn't. Why would it? Right.
Right. This is all bullshittery.
This was like one of the dumber ends to a fucking book. Mm-hmm. Like, we had the 2 chapters prior to this that were just like bullshittery and fluffing up David, and then all of a sudden, as always, God gets angry about something out of fucking nowhere, only now he doesn't actually talk to the people that he's angry about.
Right.
And then we have some bullshit crap happen. But I was wrong. David doesn't die.
David didn't die.
Not yet, anyway.
That is the end of 2 Samuel 24.
And the end of 2 Samuel.
That's what I meant to say.
Right.
Yeah, the end of 2 Samuel.
That is the end of that book.
Yeah. I knew that David is referenced again in future books, but I wasn't sure if it's because he didn't die here.
Right.
So that's why I couldn't argue with you too much.
No, I just figured because it was the end of a book, maybe he dies. You know, I didn't know.
Right.
I don't know these things.
But he is a king.
But yeah, and that was a really dumb end to a book.
That was a horrible end to that book.
It really was, and I don't understand any of that shit.
Me neither. It should have stopped like 2 chapters ago, 3 chapters ago.
Right. Well, yeah.
Honestly, if they had to end the chapter somewhere, it kind of did end.
There definitely was like an arc that could have ended better, you know, and then they went off into this crap that they started going off about David, and then God got angry out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
And a fucking what the fuck is the census?
Why is it? Why is that difficult and bad? And why did he make him do it and then decide he was mad that the dude obeyed him?
Right. It was so stupid.
I hate it.
I do too. All right. Well, that's it for this book. So tomorrow we are going to be doing our
Q&A for the week for the chapters that we read this week.
Yep.
And then on Saturday
we're going to be doing a couples episodes, right?
Yeah. We'll have a Q&A over 2 Samuel.
Right.
Not a Q&A,
but the final
bonus episode where we wrap up the whole book. And then we'll also do our
new series.
You're Always Wrong.
No, it's the Contradictions.
It's the You're Always Wrong
Contradictions.
Series. Because you're always wrong.
But it's Contradictions.
Because whatever you choose, you're wrong.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So that's what we're
on
doing.
Sunday, we will have our next installment of the Sacrilegious Book Club.
And our weekly
replay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then so on Monday, we'll start First Kings.
Awesome. All right, sounds good. We will see you guys the next few days for our bonus episodes and whatnots, and then next week we'll see you bright and early for our First Kings.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye. Husband,
Wife.
it's Saturday Q&A.
Are we coming up with a theme song for like every fucking thing that we do?
Goddamn right we are.
Oh God. Okay.
How you like it?
It's there.
It happened.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
So, do you know what our Q was?
I believe it has to do with what we talked about this last episode with the census, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The questions particularly are, why was the census bad?
Right.
Given that God
told him to do it.
it.
Like fucking nutty bastard.
And then along with that, after he did it and was about to get punished, why did David choose the plague? And why was that the right choice?
David didn't choose the plague, I thought.
Yeah,
I
he
thought
did.
I thought he said
no.
let God choose.
He did, but he didn't. I'll get into that more.
Okay.
And then the last question was, why did Israel have to get punished? That made no fucking sense.
And like there was no reason given at all.
Yeah. So I have some answers. Some of them overlap. Some of them are apologist. And some of them actually come from the future that we haven't read yet, but they're pertinent, so I have to reference them.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
Spoilers, etc.
Spoilers, yeah. All right. Well, let's get into this Q&A, yeah? All right.
Hey, so before I go any further,
Yeah.
I have to address the fact that I did our intro song incorrectly. So this is how it should be. Ready?
Oh, God, you're going to redo it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Q&A Saturday, except this time it's on Friday.
Yeah, no, we're going to not do that one. That's not going to be going forward.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, but without the Friday part.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Because this time it's on a Friday.
This time it's on a Friday, though.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Because the book of 2 Samuel, it ended.
It didn't have 5 episodes
It ended
this
a
week.
day soon.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to deal with the first question, okay? Why was the census bad?
Right.
Okay, I have 4 answers, and I'll get into each of them.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of. We're going to talk about God's word,
Okay.
pride, war, and money and power.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is the funnest.
Okay.
The funnest.
Got it, yeah.
Because it has to deal with Bible-y stuff.
Right.
We're going to talk about Satan.
What?
What? Okay.
Satan doesn't exist as yet.
Well,
As yet.
Right. So in Exodus chapter 30, there's a verse that spoke to God's ownership of his people.
Okay.
And you shall not count them except they're mine. They belong to me. Israel's mine.
Yeah. Okay.
And so a man only has the right to count what belongs to him. Like you can count your sheep, you can count your coins, but you can't count people because people don't fucking belong to you.
What about Numbers? You know that book, Numbers.
But God told him to. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Hang on.
All right.
Hang on.
All right.
So Israel doesn't belong to David. Israel belongs to God. And it was up to the Lord to command accounting. And you're going to say, but
he
God did command accounting.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. In First Chronicles, which we haven't got to yet, and we won't for a couple, it suggests that it was Satan that moved David's heart to number the people.
Oh.
And in some translations, it says that he, quote unquote, moved David's heart, and in others it said that there's some translations that use the word he and some use the word it.
Okay.
So it's unclear whether there was God moved David's heart or something else moved David's heart, or Satan moves David's heart. But First Chronicles chapter 21 apparently suggests that it was Satan that did it.
Okay.
And apparently, when we get to Chronicles, it's going to retell some of the shit that we've already read, but from a God religious point of view instead of a fact-finding mission like what we've had.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, it bothers me a little bit, like, like there's all these retranslations of the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why, if we're talking about translations,
mm-hmm.
why don't they make their translations consistent throughout their Bible that they translate?
Well, because there are words that don't conjugate well. They don't conjugate to English.
Okay.
I forget one of the words that they particularly pointed out in one of the things that I read. It doesn't conjugate to something that is clear who is doing the action.
Okay.
So this gets into grammar, right?
Right.
And we're talking about a thing that was written in another language
Sure.
thousands of years ago.
No, and I get that, and I understand that that's part of the issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're talking about people are rewriting this Bible in their. Why can't they be like, hey, look, there's an inconsistency here, and we're not sure if this is this way or that way, so let's just go with the consistent.
Well, because you'll get one Bible, like the King James is the most famous one because that's like where everything stopped and came to an end or what the fuck ever.
Sure.
The King James version for ages was just like the end all be all and everybody just agreed.
Right.
Right? But then when they started doing other translations so that dum-dums like me and you and average folk could start reading it.
Right.
That's when all these other translations came out and people are like, wait, hold on a second. And then also as they try to make it more readable, it gets translated again.
Got it.
So we're never going to come to a consensus on what it says because we can't know.
Right, because there was arguments 1,000 years ago as to what it said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now we're just, 1,000
1,000
years later with more arguments about what it says.
Yeah. And when you get people who live by the King James, that's the end all be all.
Right.
And most Baptists and Catholics, some of them, Catholics, when they don't use their own Bible, they'll use the King James because the King James is the closest to like old school.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have their own Bible, but it would not be surprising to find them with a King James version.
Got it.
Because it's
similar.
So it's
minus
it's
their Catholic bits.
Yeah, but it's still like so perfect to them for whatever reason. You know what I mean? It's just like you're old and you use thou and thee, so you're great.
Yeah.
Shakespearean wonderfulness or
Makes
what the fuck ever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that was the first explanation, okay?
Okay.
Was God's word.
Sure.
And so we don't know what that's about.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
The second answer to the question is pride. Joab questioned David's motive. Like, remember when he came up and he's like, the fuck? Why are we doing a census? This makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Right? So Joab was questioning David's motive behind the counting, suggesting that David was guilty of vanity and vainglory.
Okay.
And that he thought maybe that doing a count was a way for David to take credit for how Israel had grown and prospered during his reign. You know what I mean? Because when the numbers came back, they were so increased.
Right.
And that, obviously is like, look how much I've grown this place, hey?
Right.
So that speaks to his pride.
Okay.
So that's one reason that he might have...
I'm assuming increased over the count that was done in numbers because that was the last time an official count hypothetically has been done?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So it would be, in spite of all the wars that we've done and all of the nations being against each other and coming apart and then coming back together, look what I've done.
I mean, let's not mention the hundreds of years that have passed since that last fucking census.
Yeah, let's not. So here's the third reason. War.
Yeah.
David desired the increase of the nation, as any leader would, but he probably wanted to measure the size of his army to know if he had enough force to conquer a neighboring nation.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's just good military sense, right?
Sure.
So, one of the notes is that the information delivered to him was not the actual population. It was only the men fit for military service.
Well, they kind of said that in the chapter 2. Like, they said it was men of military age.
Yeah,
that
that's
they counted,
what I'm
so,
saying.
right.
That's one of the notes.
Right.
So that really leans strongly toward why he might have wanted this information.
Sure.
It was, the census was being used as a tool for the draft.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
So, the fourth reason was maybe money and power, because the census was also a tool used to exact taxes.
Okay.
And for kings to measure their power and manipulate and coerce based on that power.
Got it.
So I think it was probably reasons 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
Leaving
yeah,
Satan
like a
right out.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, I mean, that doesn't really answer the question, why would God make him do this and then
right.
Be like, now I'm mad at you for doing this.
Yeah, no, that made no sense.
But the point is that it might not have been God that told him to do it.
Right.
Or there were some apologists saying that God allowed Satan to move his heart to do this, to use him as a tool.
Oh, okay.
Just, I don't know. I don't know.
I struggle with this. You. Like, if you're an all-powerful God, why would you, like, the first thing that you do is you're creating an entity, an evil entity, that has power over your people to co-opt them and fight your will, right?
Yeah.
You created this thing, okay? And then also, you then allow them to actually do the bad things to people that are your people?
But it's supposed to... Okay, I'm going to take the side of the explainer here.
Okay.
This is not my perspective. This is the perspective of somebody who would explain this to us.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So please don't take this as me saying this is how I feel.
Got it.
Okay. So the answer to that would be that he has allowed this other entity in and gives him the room to come and go and to do bad upon his people, to hone and shape them.
Okay.
To force the people to learn and to be better and to prepare them, for the great whatever.
So his answer to honing and shaping is to kill 70,000 of them.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll get into that actually in a minute.
Got it.
So that's going to be in the why did Israel get punished portion of our discussion here.
Okay.
Okay. So they also, a lot of the sources that I checked mentioned Job, the book of Job. Are you familiar with what happens in the book of Job?
Not really, no.
I haven't read it, so this is all secondary, but basically what's going to happen in the book of Job is that God and the devil, like literally, they make a bet where the devil is like, this guy Job is so up your butt in love with you, I bet if you give me the room to fuck his shit up, that he will stop praising you.
Okay.
And so the reason that this is mentioned is because Satan has to ask permission of God. May I please fuck with your guy?
Right.
And then God, because he's an asshole, does grant that permission. Yes, you may. The only stipulation being you can't kill my guy.
Okay.
So 3 different times the devil wreaks complete havoc. I mean, he causes him to lose his family. He causes him to lose his livelihood.
Good Lord.
By the end, I think he's blind and crippled and stuff.
Wow.
And still, the whole time he keeps praising God. So God is a smug fuck by the end and is see, my guy still loves me.
Yeah.
That's
just, that's such bullshit.
I have a lot of people have very big problems with Job.
Right.
With
not
the
just
book,
Job, right,
not
yeah.
Job the person, the book of Job.
Right.
Because it's like, how could you do this? And then, of course, apologists will come in and either say, well, it's just a parable. It didn't really happen. It's a story. Or they'll say, God is all-powerful and has his reasons.
Right.
And either way, those are unacceptable.
Yeah.
The parable sucks and God is a dick.
Right. Right.
Those are my responses. But the reason that book is brought up is in order to show that if Satan moves against man, such as in the case where he might have pushed David to do the census, he had to have permission from God to take this action.
Got it.
Okay?
But they failed to cover that bit, so.
But it does mention that in First Chronicles, when we get there, that it will say that Satan is the one who
got it.
Pushed
this. Right.
Yeah, pushed David to do the census.
Okay.
So I apologize. I don't normally do spoilery things where we get into books we haven't read yet, but the answer to this question is tied up.
I got it.
In shit we haven't read. Okay, so the next question is, why did David choose the plague? And your argument was, well, he didn't. He said just leave it in God's hands.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, by saying that, he said, please let me fall into the hand of the Lord. That actually meant that he chose the plague because, and actually this makes sense.
Okay.
The other two options, the king and his family would be insulated from danger. Okay? Like, in the case of war, his own personal safety was in no danger because there was an ordinance preventing him from going into battle. So he would have been fine, right?
Okay.
In the case of famine, his own wealth would have secured his and his family's own support. They would have been fine. David knew after all the information from the census came back and he was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, fuck, God, I'm sorry. I fucked it all up, didn't I? And God's like, yeah, you fucking did. So choose the punishment, 1, 2, or 3. And he says, I choose the one that is...
that I could be affected by.
Yeah, that I'm putting myself in your hands, not the hands of other men.
Got it.
So David knew that he had to expose himself to the chastisement of God. So this was like a test of his heart and his ability to think through and blah, 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 blah.
Got it.
Okay. And pestilence was the only one that would have exposed David and his household equally to the ravages of plague along with all of his subjects.
Right.
So he did choose the plague.
Got
and apparently that was the correct answer.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that I necessarily see where they're pulling all this from, but I get the logic.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
How do you feel about that answer?
I find the whole explanation very unsatisfactory based on what we read.
Yeah.
But, I can accept the fact that this is part of a bigger book. Mm-hmm. And, okay, there's other sections. But to the best of my knowledge of what the Bible is it's a bunch of fucking rewrites from people who want to make it sound differently because they have different agendas at different times, and then the book was thrown together.
Yeah.
So, to me, the story just seems like absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it was preceded, the previous 2 chapters, by fluffing up this motherfucker, mm-hmm. and then just right into, oh, they fucked up, let's kill a bunch of people.
Right.
I'm like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
God hasn't killed a bunch of people in a while. Like, and then all of a sudden he's just like, 70,000 dead.
Yeah.
And why? Just why? Like, I mean, I get it. You gave us why. But it's still stupid.
You're asking the next question, which is the third question we had. Why did Israel get punished?
Right, okay, yeah.
So, the verse was, the Lord's anger against Israel flared again and incited David to number Israel and Judah. Okay, that's the verse.
Okay.
Like, God's anger, he was mad again.
I see, but it was hard to tell whether he was mad at Israel or the fact that David did the count.
He was mad at both, and we are not given to know why.
Okay.
And this is the only question that I could not even find a halfway satisfactory answer, it is all apologist. No
actual answers.
No actual
or
answers.
References from the Bible or whatever.
Like, there's not even any kind of supposition. Well, in the times, blah, 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 blah. It just, what I could find basically was everybody is in agreement that God was angry with the whole nation for some undisclosed reason.
Okay.
And so thus God permitted David to fall into the sin of doing the count.
Okay.
So that he could then, it's like basically he gave the guy rope to hang him and his nation with.
I guess. But like, it just sounds like they wanted to kill a bunch of people, because it sounds to me like God initially he punished David for a census. Mm-hmm. And let's assume that maybe the devil influenced his first decision to take the census, and that's why God came back and was like, fuck you, which one are you picking? Plague, okay, here it is, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, it doesn't sound good to just kill 70,000 Israelites out of nowhere. So this is where they have to come up with a fucking reason. And I don't know that... Now, I could come up with a reason right off the top of my head, and I could say, yeah, those fucking Israelites are fickle motherfuckers, and they decide that they one day want to worship God, and the next day they want to worship some other fucking thing.
And they're always warring at each other.
Yeah, and they're always warring at each other. So sure, I can come up with a reason, but there was not a fucking reason given.
Right.
And that's what's bullshit here to me.
Right. We're just supposed to either go along with, well, it's not ours to know. We can't have all the answers.
Right.
And it's God's plan, blah,
but
blah,
no,
blah.
fuck that. This is God's word. You can give me the answer.
Right.
God should give me the answer. God should tell us why these people are being punished. Like, that's part of the explanation as to why you act. Why you should have to give a fucking reason why you killed 70,000 people, other than somebody counted some people.
Right.
That's bullshit.
Right. Well, there are suggestions that he was mad at the nation for other stuff, which may have included all that fickle bullshit and warring.
Yeah.
But he's mad at the nation, and we don't know specifically why.
And that's what I'm taking issue with here.
Right.
Is that we don't know why.
We don't know why, but, I mean, you just guessed why.
Sure.
And it makes perfect sense.
I will grant you that 100%. But when you're talking about killing this many people and trying to explain why God killed this many people, there should be at least the briefest fucking sentence saying why.
I agree. There's also the fact that today, particularly Americans, we are outraged at the idea of being forced to suffer for the guilt of somebody else.
Right.
Like, we believe that we only have to suffer for our own sins or whatever.
Sure.
Like, don't punish me for what somebody else fucking did.
Yeah, it's the, teacher punishes the whole class is bullshit syndrome.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. Like, I think that's bullshit.
Totally. But in the biblical perspective, that time period, their worldview was that we're all interconnected, and each one's sin impacted the entire community.
Right.
So,
which is why they would take out fucking psychics and stone them in the streets.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, fuck no, not in my neighborhood.
Right, exactly. And so, I mean, it kind of gets back into that early on. I don't remember what specifically we were discussing, but it was very much they were interdependent, not just dependent, but interdependent upon each other for survival.
Right.
And so they had to keep each other on the up and up, and they had to be involved in each other's bizwax.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And so from their perspective, one sin, they all sin. And they accepted that. We don't accept that today because we feel like we are not interconnected. We feel like, man, I can go get my groceries by myself in my car with my keys and the gas that I bought, and I can come home to the house that I paid for, and what my neighbor does has nothing to fucking do with me. I wouldn't even recognize him on the street, right? Like, we have zero interconnectedness.
Right. I get the use of interconnectedness as far as punishment, because let's take a community like ours, and let's say that something happened where there was some sort of an incident that had to do with, like a race relation of some type. Because we live in a very white, Christian, not backward ass, but kind of backward ass.
It's a classy backward
ass community, right? And, at some level, the community has to take responsibility if something were to happen to somebody because of how we are as a community, right? Like you have to take some communal responsibility for things that go wrong because of the community. And
it's like when you get people that say, "Oh, I can't believe that happened here. This is not a town where stuff like that happens." And it's like, well, but it is though.
Right, yeah, I can see how that could happen, right?
I absolutely could. Like if you ask my neighbor, because they've never seen it, they would say, "Oh, that kind of stuff doesn't happen here."
Right.
But if you ask me and you, who are progressive and liberal,
we'd be like, that's bound to happen here at some point. If you give us
time. It hasn't yet, but it's absolutely not shocking that it has at this point.
Right.
So,
So I mean, I understand communal responsibility, but at the same time, I also don't want to be punished for the whole group because I don't consider myself part of this community. I don't want to be part of this community.
Well, it's kind of like, okay, let me give a different example. The community that we do belong to is progressive and liberal.
Yeah.
And so when Al Franken, when we found out that he had made some sexual innuendos, our entire community of liberals, not our neighborhood that we live in, but the community that you and I have fostered through the news that we can consume and the online groups that we speak with and the friends and family that
community.
Yes, our community. We were very dismayed and disheartened, and some of us went so far as to say he needed to step down and blah 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 and kind of took it overboard. But we were very hurt when somebody in our community, did something that we didn't approve of.
And we punished them accordingly.
Right. And we didn't mind as much our community taking that hit because that was wrong.
Right. We have to stand by our what we stand for. We have to stand by it.
Sure. So I think that it's not a matter of we don't want to be punished for wrongdoers in our community. I think it's less that so much as that we want to be allowed to choose what our community is.
Right.
Because I'll be goddamned if I'm going to be punished for anything that happens in this town.
Right.
That's some bullshit. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful with that because then you get like the not all men and the not all white people, and you don't want to be that guy either.
Right. But you also, I think that if you're going to not accept communal responsibility, you have to have done something to fight it, which, you and our kid went out to the Black Lives Matter protest that was here in our town.
Which was amazing.
Right, which was amazing. And, I mean, there's not a lot of opportunity in a small town that we live in to do things like this, but I feel like we would and are on the right side of things when there is things like that available.
I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back too much.
But I said, there's not a lot of opportunity.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression, that I did one march, so I'm an awesome white person.
We got together with our local Democrats and had a, voting, or not a voting party, but a debate party, and, we try to keep in contact with people in the neighborhood that we're friends with that are Democrat and liberal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we do what we can do to maintain who we are in this community as much as we are able to.
I do call out racism, which is probably going to get me caught, shot one of these days.
Right, yeah.
But I'll just never forget that one time when I was in CVS and a guy an aisle over was talking about somebody... they needed to go back to their country, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I didn't even catch the whole thing. And I was like, we're not all sharing your beliefs. Some of us over here are fine with people just being people and living here, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it was like crickets. And then everybody got real quiet because it was kind of crowded that day. But I was like, I mean, I'm not going to change you. I'm not going to make you not be racist, but I am going to make damn sure that you don't say that shit.
Right, right.
Not acceptable, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyway, that's way off topic.
Right, we're on a tangent here.
The whole point, though, is that I think maybe we don't mind being held accountable for our community as long as we get to decide what that community is.
Right, which they obviously had no control over.
Right.
Because different times.
Right.
You know? So.
Right. So, I don't know. I certainly don't want to be held accountable for what America does because I'm, like, not on board right now with how America's behaving.
Right. Yeah, that's, I mean, like, yeah. No,
I mean,
we're definitely putting out our, flags like, hey,
not us.
we don't agree.
Yeah.
We don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, sorry about all that.
Right? Yeah.
So, those are the answers to those questions to the best that I could find.
I don't know that they were really answers. It explains why they happened, but I'm not satisfied with the outcome of that chapter and those chapters there.
But it did set us up for expectations of what we are going to come across in future reading.
Right.
And I think it did invoke some interesting dialogue here.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that I've ever thought about... like, I'm that kid that's like, no, I'm not getting punished for other people. Period.
Right.
And it never really dawned on me, but how would I feel the same if I got to choose my community?
Right.
You know?
Well, I think you already answered that.
Yeah.
You will stand up for what's right within your community and accept that maybe sometimes we do have to punish people in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But again, it still boils down to punishing people, not the entire community.
Yeah, that's true because like I don't want to get punished for what Al Franken did.
But
and I don't even think what he did was like horrible and I'm probably going to get dragged by...
let's look at it this way though. I think that the reason, students get punished communally, right? Mm-hmm. As a group, right?
Yeah.
Let's say somebody does something wrong, right? In that class and the teacher's got their back turned, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they turn around and say, "You're all going to go to, lunch detention." Well, nobody's standing up and saying, it was this guy over here, generally speaking.
No, I know. That's so fucking frustrating.
So, I'm not saying that it never happens, but I'm saying, generally speaking, nobody points out the person that actually did it and says, wait, we didn't do anything, it was just them.
Yeah.
So they're communally punishing because probably through time and time again, this happening over and over and over again,
mm-hmm.
they know that nobody's going to,
argue it.
Yeah, no one's going to stand up and say this person did it,
right?
Or offer up the person on a plate,
because snitches get stitches.
Right. So teachers probably are just lazy and saying, "Well, fuck it, I'm just gonna punish y'all because I'm not dealing with this bullshit."
You know what?
And I don't agree with it exactly, but I also kind of understand it. So
I hate it because I have such a personal problem with it because my mom was that way. Like if me and my sister were arguing over something and like, if I'm 9 times out of 10, I was just trying to read my book and be left alone.
Right.
I just wanted to be left alone, and I had already cleaned my part of the room.
Yeah.
Because I'm a reader, I'm an organizer. I just want to organize my shit, lay on my bed, read my book, don't nobody talk to me.
Sure.
My sister was always bothering me, right? And, like, when I would go and tell my mom, it was, you kids get along.
Right.
Well, I don't want to equate that to the years later I'm being told, find something in common and hug a Nazi. But right. It's the same fucking concept.
Right.
I don't want to get along. I want to be left alone, and I don't want to find something in common with a Nazi. I want to not hug them. I don't care if we both like vanilla ice cream. They're racist pieces of shit who suck.
Exactly.
And in school, I don't want to stay in at recess. I want to go either outside and play or read my fucking book.
Right.
So, anyways.
Yeah, moral of the story, don't hug Nazis.
Yeah.
And
also, I have problems. So...
All right. I don't know that we accomplished anything, but we talked about a lot of stuff.
We did.
So there's that.
I enjoyed the conversation.
That conversation was good.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed it too.
That was a Q with no A's, but lots of A's.
Right. Well, I mean, there was A's, but not,
not good ones.
Not satisfactory ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, tomorrow I believe we have 2 episodes coming out, correct?
Yes. It will be the 2 Samuel wrap-up as well as what's the other one?
The Contradictions episode.
Yeah. The You're Always Wrong.
Contradictions episode. Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, it's You're Always Wrong. That's what it's called.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow for one, both, or none of the episodes, whichever you decide on, I guess.
All right.
And you guys have a great whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you know what we're doing today?
We're doing the wrap-up for 2 Samuel.
Yeah, kind of. Normally we do like a summary and a pop quiz.
Right.
And I'm breaking up tradition this time.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I thought we'd do like a recap of 1st and 2nd Samuel and, talk about like what parts we forgot and because it's one long story.
Right,
and
right.
It broke at a really odd place.
Okay.
So.
Just to touch on some things here, we're not doing our contradictions today.
No, we're doing those tomorrow.
Right, so there'll be 2 episodes tomorrow, not today.
Along with Sacrilegious Book Club.
Right. And the weekly wrap-up.
Yes.
Or whatever, replay. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that's all the notes I've got for today. So we're ready to go ahead and get into the episode here?
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, so I know we did an intro to 1 Samuel and then we did another intro to 2 Samuel.
Yeah.
And we got into some of the history of the books, but those were both forever ago.
Right.
So, just as a reminder, according to Jewish tradition, the book of Samuel, which is 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel.
Right.
It was broken into 2, but was originally one big long piece. And according to Jewish tradition, it was originally written by Samuel with additions by the prophets Gad and Nathan.
Because obviously Samuel dies.
Right. And
a while back.
But those 3 are considered prophets.
Okay.
So Samuel, because he was raised from the dead.
Okay.
And then Gad and Nathan. So
right.
It's a big deal.
Okay.
And First Chronicles is which sorry, I was going through Sam King Khan, that's how I remember this. 1st and 2nd Samuel, and then comes 1st and 2nd Kings, but when we get to 1st Chronicles, it apparently is an account of David's reign.
Okay.
So I think I mentioned that before, but it's just worth repeating because it's all very confusing and and back and forthy.
Yep.
So just another reminder, Samuel was the final judge.
Right.
Which, from the time period of the judges.
From judges, right. Yeah.
Right. Before the Age of Kings begins. And that's what this period is called, the Age of Kings.
Okay.
So, in Samuel's old age, he appoints his sons as judges.
Right.
But because of their corruption, the people ask for a king to rule over them.
Only God and Samuel didn't like that very much.
Well, apparently God was like, whatever, I guess.
Okay.
And Samuel was like, but that's dumb. And in spite of Samuel's misgivings, God directs Samuel to grant the people their wish.
Right. But I still felt like he was like, you're going to regret this type thing.
Yeah, but he also told them, it's stupid, but listen, as long as you guys behave, don't worship false idols and follow every single rule to the, to a T, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But, of course, they don't.
Right.
So,
and I mean,
course,
never.
They're not.
Right.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, nobody ever follows any rules to the,
No.
I mean, that's just saying, that's life. So.
Yeah. So God gives them Saul from the tribe of Benjamin, whom Samuel then anoints.
A spear-throwing motherfucker.
Spear-throwing motherfucker.
Yeah.
Saul, of course, disobeys Yahweh's instructions more than once.
Yep.
And his kingdom is in a constant state of war.
Right.
And it's just bad all the way around.
Right.
So Samuel rebukes Saul and tells him that God has now chosen another man to be king instead.
Right.
So God tells Samuel to anoint David the youngest son of Jesse, as king.
Right.
Okay. And the summary that I was pulling from really managed to gloss over a lot of the discrepancies, and
I'm sure.
and they did it masterfully.
Yeah.
Because this is the way it's phrased. Saul becomes ill and David comes to play the harp for him. Saul takes a liking to David and David enters Saul's court as his armor bearer and harpist.
Well, that's a nice way to put all that shit that happened.
He was gonna be made king, but then he wasn't. But then he was. But then he was again.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So,
and not to mention, like, Saul was like, I'm going to kill you. I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to speed you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
fucking psychotic, you know?
Really interesting little wrap up there.
Yeah.
During a war against the Philistines, a champion named Goliath emerges.
Mm-hmm.
And David slings a stone into Goliath's forehead. Goliath dies. And David cuts off Goliath's head with Goliath's sword.
Awesome. Goliath killer, who's not actually David, but whatever, it's David.
Exactly. Saul becomes jealous of David after the Israelites start singing about how much more successful David is.
Well, he did kill tens of thousands, and he only killed his thousands, so...
Yep. You
got to kill more people, you know?
You got to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So David joins the Philistines out of fear of Saul, but makes the Philistines believe he is attacking the Israelites.
Right.
I forgot all that.
Yeah.
Because it was so long ago.
Right.
Eventually, the Philistines go to war with the Israelites, and David goes with them. But meanwhile, Saul is growing increasingly anxious about the upcoming battle, but he can't get any words from God.
Right.
So that's when he visits the Witch of Endor.
Yeah.
And he contacts Samuel from beyond the grave.
Right.
Which is thereby makes Samuel a prophet.
Sure.
So Samuel reveals that the Philistines will win the battle, with Saul and his sons dying in the process.
Right. So, like, if you trusted in that process, why would you even go to fucking battle?
I wouldn't.
Right.
I wouldn't. I'd just
be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to move to another land.
Womp womp.
Or I'm out, you know? Yep. Like, I'm done.
Change of plan, guys.
So, David can have the fucking land.
Yep. I don't need all this.
Right.
When Saul is wounded during a raging battle, he asks his armor bearer to run a sword through him rather than let him be captured by the Philistines.
You were right.
Then he does it himself when the armor bearer refuses.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Except for that, the guy then takes his crown. Remember, there's the
Philistines find Saul and behead him, sending his head one way and his armor the other. And then when the citizens of Jabesh Gilead hear what has happened, they take Saul's body and perform funerary rites in their city.
But don't you remember there was the guy that brought David Saul's head?
I'm getting to that.
Or crown, not his head, his crown.
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Yeah. That is actually the end of 1 Samuel.
Okay. Yep.
It seems like it was much shorter and more succinct than 2 Samuel, which is just crazy because it seemed awfully long when we were reading it.
Yeah.
So David receives news from an Amalekite messenger that Saul and his sons are dead. David orders his death for having killed God's anointed.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah,
so that's what happened.
Right.
So dude is like, I'm going to get prize, and isn't it great?
Yeah.
And David's like, not so much. Even though he was trying to kill me, he was still God's anointed king.
Right. But they also, that's one of those contradictions that we came across, because David says that he killed him, but it was actually, like, according to the Bible.
Guy.
Well, no. In the one part, Saul fell on his own sword.
Oh, right.
And then when he goes to see David, David's like, no, you killed him. And it's like, well, I mean, did he, though?
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's all very confusing.
Right.
But the whole reason that they make a point of saying that David was like, no, I can't ever kill Saul ever, even though he's trying to kill me, is because they're trying to make him out to be purposely righteous and justified to the crown.
Except that he had many, many, many flaws.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, I mean, if you wanted to make him be righteous, wouldn't you make him be righteous?
Well, they didn't mean a righteous man. They meant righteously granted the power to be king.
Got it.
He came by the crown honestly.
Okay.
He didn't kill anybody to get it, and he didn't, take advantage or step on anybody to get where he got.
Got it.
He was a dick, definitely. He was a dickbag as a person.
So they didn't want to. They basically went out of their way to make sure that it didn't sound like he usurped Saul's kingship.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, the elders of Judah then anoint David as king.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
But Saul's son, Ishbosheth, was supported by Abner.
Right.
Who had taken control of the northern tribes. And so Joab's brother, Asael, chases Abner.
Yep.
And Abner kills him, which shocks everybody. Because that wasn't supposed to happen.
Got it.
So Ishbosheth then accuses Abner of sleeping with Saul's concubine, Rizpah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Abner offers to join David because he's like, I did not, fuck you. Fine, I'll just take my toys and go play at the other house.
But then Joab was like, nah, man.
Right.
You're not doing this shit.
But David accepts this offer. Yeah,
right,
totally
right.
Come to me as long as he brings Michael with him because he had fallen in love with and married Saul's daughter, Michal.
Right.
And so, following the return of Michal, Abner agrees to get the elders of Israel to make David the king.
Got it.
And we're getting to Joab doing a murder.
Right.
Joab believes Abner was lying in his purpose of coming to David and kills him. So that's the first murder.
Right.
There's 2 more coming.
Yeah.
And it's important that we remember this because later on in one of the, I don't know, Kings or Chronicles or some shit.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Joab?
No.
David?
No. David is going to tell his son Solomon.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't let Joab go to his grave, okay? Because he's got blood on his hands, just so you know.
Oh.
Like, that's a thing that
wow.
Yeah.
So there was some contention there.
Right. That we don't read about here. But apparently he's going to tell his son, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just saying.
Right.
So, deal with him however you want, but he killed a lot of people in his time that I didn't tell him to kill.
Right.
So, yeah, these add up. So I'm glad that we made note of that last time so that I could pay attention to them as we're going through this.
Sure.
So, so they then buried, okay, wait, sorry, I lost my place here. Okay, so Joab killed, Abner.
Yeah.
In revenge for Asael.
Got it.
Okay?
Yep.
And then Ishbosheth is murdered by 2 of David's captains, and they bring his head to David.
Yeah.
Hoping for a reward.
Right.
But David is like, fuck you, I didn't tell you to do that. And so he kills them for having killed an innocent man. Because I think they killed him in his bed.
Right.
Or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And so Ishbosheth's head is then buried in Abner's tomb.
Got it.
I think these would make a really great movie, if I'm being honest.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, this is interesting. And it's hard for me to keep all the people straight because there's too many names.
I don't really want these to be made into a movie, though, because, they'd say it would be taken, they would be a religious movie.
Yeah,
not like a historical movie.
Yeah, I don't want that. I want, a really cool drama that I can follow and, understand the characters' motives, like some kind of a HBO or Netflix thing.
Right.
But not with, a Christian spin to try to, convince me, oh, God, and the magic and blah, blah, blah. I don't want that part.
It would be really cool if we were, past Christianity.
Yeah.
How we are with, Zeus and the whole...
Exactly.
We can look back and be like, yeah, let's have some fun stories with those things, right?
Exactly. We can make movies about the Greek gods and it's fine.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like there's some agenda hidden there.
Right.
I don't need no Christian agenda in my dramas.
Right.
So, the only other surviving member of Ishbosheth's family is... Do you remember?
Is this Mephibosheth? Whatever his name is?
Mephibosheth. Jonathan's disabled son.
Right.
And I think that it was Jonathan and David's son.
Except that there was then 7 sons that they killed later.
Well, they're not They're not Ishbosheth's sons. They're his other, like, brothers' sons or whatever.
Got it. And I just realized you said Jonathan and David's son, and that was funny, but I didn't.
That was
I didn't
funny.
register it. Sorry.
I know, you rolled right over it.
Yeah.
I think it's their baby.
Right. Yeah.
But he got dropped, so he's got crippled feet. Poor guy.
Yeah.
So David's anointed king of all Israel. Yay! He's
Yay.
the king. King is king.
Right.
So then David captures Jerusalem from the Jebusites and takes over the fortress of Zion.
Yay.
Okay. I guess that's good. Whatever.
I mean, yeah. He didn't hold on to it very long, though.
No. So David then wants to bring the ark from Kiriath Jearim
Right.
to Jerusalem. And so he puts it on a cart.
Right, and that guy, like, had to steady it
Drops
and then
it.
died.
Yeah. He employs the priests Uzzah and Ahio to accompany it, and a grand procession with musical instruments is organized. But it comes to a sudden halt when the oxen stumble.
Yeah.
And then Uzzah touches the ark and dies, like you said.
Right.
He melts.
Because God didn't want him to do that.
Yeah. I think you said that he, like, punched God in the balls accidentally.
Yeah, well, on that episode I did, yeah.
Yeah. That would be funny.
That would be funny.
So David is afraid to take it any further.
Yeah.
And so he stores it with Obed-Edom.
Right.
And it stays there for 3 months. And that family gets nothing but blessings. So then David's like, phew, I guess we're safe to take it back to Jerusalem.
Yeah, I'll take
now.
that from you now.
Yeah.
No more blessings for you guys.
I want some blessings. So as part of the ceremony bringing the ark into the city, David dances like a fucking loon.
Right, and all the women are like, woo.
Because he's swinging his dick around because he's not wearing anything but his ephod. So he's like, da boop, ba doop, ba doo.
Right, but as I call him, Michael's very not happy about this.
She's like, the fuck are you doing, weirdo?
Right.
But David's like, I wasn't dancing for you, I was dancing for God, so fuck off. And I wasn't being undignified, so eat my ass. And then Michael never gets to have any kids after that.
Right, yeah.
May or may not be related to the fact that she was irritated. It may or may not be that he decided not to fuck her because she made fun of him.
Yeah.
You know? Who could know?
Right.
So David wishes to build a temple, saying that it's not cool that the Ark of God, that, here's David living in a fucking palace, in a city of David named after him.
God needs something similar.
And God lives in a tent.
Right.
Which, I mean, that sounds right.
I mean, God told them to build the fucking tent, so.
Yeah. Yeah. But then Nathan, a prophet, agrees. And he's like, yeah, that sounds right. But that night, Nathan has a dream in which God informs him that David should not build him a temple.
Right.
For 3 reasons. Do you remember the reasons?
I do not.
First of all, God never commanded it. So, he's like, it's none of your business. I
Sure.
never complained about it. You're the one with the fucking problem.
Right.
Ephod wiener dancer.
Yeah.
Second, God is still working to build David and his house up to establish the Israelites in the Promised Land. I'm not sure what that has to do with.
That doesn't really necessarily mean anything there, but okay.
That was it was a reason given in the summary. I guess he's like saying, like, my palace can't be complete. I have to still live in a tent because you guys aren't done yet.
Right.
So, like, symbolism, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Which, boring. So, thirdly, God will establish one of David's sons as king who will build the temple, and his house will never be out of power. So that kind of goes along with the second symbol, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Like, until Israel is ready for me to live in a palace.
Yeah.
Like, I am only going to live in a tent. Like, God, you're weird.
Right.
Yeah. So Nathan reports this to David, and then David prays to God, thanking him, and he's happy. Yay.
Sure.
Because he's like, oh, then I, won't build you a fucking palace.
Yeah.
I don't care. No fucking skin off my nose, stupid.
Right. Less work I gotta do.
Exactly. So then David asks around if anyone else from the house of Saul is still alive so he can show kindness to them in memory of Jonathan.
Right.
And then Ziba, one of Saul's servants, tells him about Mephibosheth.
Right. And we were like, what about Michael, man?
Yeah.
Like, she's part of that house.
She's a girl. Girls don't count.
I know.
He wants to help a dude real bad.
Yeah.
Plus, he's in love with David, or with Jonathan.
Sure.
And so he was just hoping, like, to pass on his love of Jonathan to one of Jonathan's kids.
Right.
So Mephibosheth gets to move in to the fucking castle and eat at his table and have all of his lands worked for him.
Right.
So that's awesome.
Yep.
And then Nahash, king of Ammon, dies, and his son Hanan, I keep wanting to say Hunan, like the Hunan house that we used to order Chinese food from.
Right.
But no, it's not Hunan, it's Hanan.
Right.
Then David sends his condolences. Do you remember this? But
No.
they're like, yeah, right.
And, yeah. That's
so
where they shave the guy's beard, half beard,
and make them walk around with their pants off.
Right, yeah.
To show off their circumcised dicks.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they get made fun of.
But then they die for making fun of people.
Pretty much. Because when David hears this, he sends Joab to lead his own army to their city. And then the Ammonites are in battle formation. But the Arameans flee from Joab, causing the Ammonites to also flee. Because remember, Joab had split up his army into 3.
Right.
And he's like, whoever, fights, whoever needs help, one of the other armies will go help the others.
Right.
But it turns out that they all fucking ran away.
Sure.
So the Arameans realize they can't win, so they make peace with Israel and then refuse to help the Ammonites ever again.
Got it.
In the following spring, Joab destroys the Ammonites. Boom.
Right, that'll show him.
Blows them up.
Yep.
While Joab is off at war, David remains home in Jerusalem. And what does he do?
Collects more wives, probably. Oh no, that's where Bathsheba happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's standing on the roof of his palace and he sees a naked woman performing her post-period ablutions.
Right.
Cleaning up, making herself holy.
Right.
And he learns her name is Bathsheba, and they have sex.
Yeah, they do.
I think that he rapes her, but
right. I mean, yeah.
It doesn't say one way or the other, but I am pretty
given
certain.
the times, given how things were back then.
Yeah.
I mean, even if she agreed to it, like, it's not exactly like she had a choice.
Right.
So.
But, like, I know we've talked about this already, but they just make it seem like this is one of the greatest love stories. And it's like,
right.
No, it's actually not.
There was even a 1951 movie about the...
I know.
We still gotta watch that shitty thing.
We do. But I don't know. There's too much good shows on right now.
Right.
I gotta watch The Orville.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyway, they have sex. And she becomes pregnant.
Yep, she does.
So...
And David does not want to... disclose this information.
Nope. He's like, I don't want to have a baby. So he recalls Bathsheba's husband Uriah.
Right.
And he's like, hey, don't you want to go home and see your wife? Time for you to go have sex to make her pregnant.
And he's like, nah, man, I got to get back to my friends out there to help them.
Yeah, so he sleeps in the doorway to the palace because he's like, you might need me because we're at all these wars all the time.
Right.
So then, in spite of inviting him to all these feasts and stuff, trying to get him drunk and...
Multiple times,
Uriah is he's a good man and a good husband because he's like, nope.
Yep.
He can't go home. I'm busy. I'm at war.
Right.
I'm working.
Wouldn't be right.
Yep. So then David deliberately sends Uriah on a suicide mission.
Yeah.
And David loses some of his best warriors in that mission.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
Yeah, but... He got him killed. Yay!
Right. Yay!
So after Bathsheba has finished mourning Uriah, David marries her. And then she gives birth.
Because, that's how that works.
It's disgusting.
Right?
Then Nathan, the prophet.
Yep.
He comes to David and tells him a parable. Do you remember the parable?
Somewhat. I remember that there was one. I don't remember exactly what it was about, but...
In a town, there are a rich man and a poor man. The rich man has much livestock. But the poor man only has one lamb, whom he loves like a child. One day the rich man has a guest, and instead of slaughtering one of his own livestock, demands the poor man's lamb. David insists the rich man must be put to death, but Nathan tells him he is the man.
Right.
My guy, can you not do analogy?
He can't.
This was pre-analogy years.
Yeah.
Like they didn't...
Apparently that was exclusive to prophets,
Yeah.
They were the only ones that could do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
It was a special skill.
Because they do it again later when...
Right.
The old woman, the wise woman comes and talks to him. And she's like, the fuck, my guy?
Right.
So, he's saying you've committed a sin to get something that you already have plenty of, wives.
Right.
And he prophesies that his family will be gripped by violence and someone will have affairs with his wives publicly.
But then that one comes
pass.
true.
Yeah. And his family is gripped by violence.
Yeah, but they were before this too, so...
Right, but...
I don't know that that's exactly... Whatever.
Well, I mean...
Yeah.
It happens. His son... His own son goes to war against him.
Right.
That's not true. Standard.
That's true.
So David repents, and Nathan tells him that he is forgiven and will not die, but his son from Bathsheba will die.
Right.
And the child becomes ill, and then even though David spends his time fasting and praying, the kid still dies.
And then once he died, he's like, I'm good.
Yep. And they're like, the fuck? And he's like, fasting ain't gonna bring him back. He dead.
Right.
So, they mourn him, and then they have a second kid named Solomon. And that's the one that we're gonna learn about in the coming books.
Sure.
He's also sometimes called Jedediah,
okay.
FYI. So
right.
That's important news to know.
Right.
So, this is where we start talking about some of David's other gross kids. Ammon, David's son by Ahinoam, fell in love with his half-sister Tamar.
Right.
David's daughter by Maacah.
Yeah.
So, Amnon's advisor suggests he pretend to be ill.
Right.
To get Tamar to come in and make bread for him so he can eat out of her hand. And then she comes in and he says, come into my bedroom, and then he rapes her. And then after he does that, he forces her to leave and is like, he wouldn't even have anything to do with her.
Right.
So he just basically ruined her.
Yep.
He's disgusting. So she rips her gown, which had symbolized that she was a virgin, and puts ashes on her hands and walks around wailing.
Yep.
Which, mental health is a thing.
Right.
So, Tamar's brother, sorry, I just, stuttered just then. But Tamar's brother, Absalom, and David both learn about this, and they become angry.
Right.
One does something about it, though.
Eventually, but yeah. I mean,
he
bided his time, but yeah.
Yeah. So 2 years later, Absalom is shearing sheep, and he invites David and all his sons to come, but David refuses to come.
Right.
But he does bless him and send Amnon and the rest of his sons to him.
Right.
Here's the rapist and all my other kids. Gross.
Yep.
So Absalom holds a feast and gets Amnon drunk. He then instructs his servants to kill Amnon in revenge for his rape of Tamar. I think that there should be a story about Tamar. Because she just kind of fades away after this. There's not really any follow-up as to what happened or anything. Justice for Tamar, you know?
Right.
David's other sons are disgusted by this murder, even though it was justified. And so they return to Jerusalem. And then David hears a rumor that Absalom had killed all of David's sons.
Right.
But Jonadab assures him it was only Amnon. It's just a rapist.
Yeah.
Not the other guys.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Absalom goes to live with his grandfather for 3 fucking years. Because his dad is a piece of shit.
Right.
So David finishes mourning for Amnon, and then he considers visiting Absalom. He considers that.
I don't even remember him considering visiting. I remember
he thought about it. He
Joab
missed
asking
him.
to come back.
He misses him.
Right.
Joab knows he misses
there was
him.
Okay.
So Joab wants to help David.
Yep.
And he tells a wise woman to travel. Here's where we get to the second parable.
Yeah.
Pretending to be in mourning and speak to the king. The woman tells a story about her 2 sons, one of whom was killed, and the other whose death is now being called for, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, whatever.
Right.
And so David agrees to issue a decree ensuring that her son is not killed. But then the woman turns this back on David and asks, why then are you not forgiving your own son?
Right, David. Come on, man.
Analogy, my guy.
Yeah.
And so then she admits that Joab put her up to this, and David agrees to allow Absalom back into Jerusalem.
But he's not going to let him visit him.
But he insists he does not come to the palace.
Right.
You remember so much of this. I did not remember this until I was going back through it. You're good. Absalom becomes popular in Jerusalem due to his great looks, because he's beautiful.
Had that beautiful hair, and that cut off 25 pounds of it at one point.
Yeah,
for something. I don't remember what that was for, but
I don't either, but
something.
Who cares?
Yeah. Who the fuck has 25 pounds of hair?
Not it.
I just was, that's crazy.
Not it. 2 years pass without Absalom being recalled to court, and all this time he's getting pissed.
Right.
So when Joab refuses to help him, Absalom sets Joab's field on fire.
Yeah.
And that gets Joab's attention.
Yep.
So then finally, Absalom manages to convince him to persuade David to allow him to come to court.
Yep.
So they go to court.
Right.
Absalom then begins campaigning because he's like, oh, isn't it? It's too bad there's nobody good to listen to you, huh?
Yeah. No, he's setting up for war here.
Yeah, he's like really...
Or he's setting up to take over his job.
He's attacking morale.
Right.
Is what he's doing. He's campaigning to become a judge by waiting outside the city gate, and he listens to the concerns of the people and pretends that there's nobody to hear him, and he's like, too bad.
Right.
He also embraces anybody who bows to him, but he's like, no, don't bow to me, I'm nothing. And so he's playing like
the people's card.
The people card, yeah. Like the populist.
Right.
So 4 years pass, and Absalom hatches a plan to get the tribes of Israel to proclaim him king.
Mm-hmm.
David is told of the increasing support for Absalom, and he decides to flee to Jerusalem. And he takes with him all his wives, except for 10 concubines.
Right.
That he leaves behind.
Yep. And
which
then
was
they'll
stupid.
They'll get
done.
raped on a roof.
So, and here we go. Ahithophel suggests Absalom sleeps with David's concubines.
Yeah.
Just to be a dick.
Right.
And Absalom pitches a tent. Yeah, he does. On the palace roof. And he does it in view of all the Israelites. Because he nasty.
Right.
David that thereby, fulfills Nathan's prophecy.
Yeah.
David intends to come into battle with his men. But his generals are like, no. So he stays at the city and instructs his generals to be gentle with Absalom. But that is not what happened.
Not at all. Though they could have spared him.
They could have.
Except for Joab.
Joab was like, nah, not happening.
Yeah.
So the battle is a victory for David. And as Absalom meets David's men, he passes under a tree. And his long hair gets caught in the tree.
That fucking hair.
And he is hanged. Joab gets word of this, finds him, and plunges 3 javelins into his fucking heart.
Yep.
Killing him. So that's death number 2.
Right.
And Joab declares the battle over and buries Absalom.
Yep.
When David learns the news of his victories and of his son's death, he begins to mourn, wishing he had died instead of Absalom. This prompts his men to start mourning as well. And then Joab's like, the fuck, this is not cool.
Right.
So he points out that the battle has saved not only David's life, but the lives of the rest of his wives and concubines.
Yep.
And he's like, this is humiliating.
Stop crying over people that are fighting you and start worrying about people that are fighting for you.
Yeah, exactly. So David agrees, and he comes out and he encourages his guys.
Yep.
So given the sudden change in situation, the elders of Israel begin to argue about what to do next. They don't know.
Yeah.
Because
what are you going to do?
We're not used to not fighting.
Yeah.
So David convinces the elders of Judah to escort him back to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And then a scuffle breaks out, because of course it does. Because they're like, why do they get to escort you?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And so in attempting to resolve the issue, a Benjaminite named Sheba, son of Bichri, launches a rebellion against David. Because we just got out of one of those.
Right.
And so all the tribes except Judah get into this.
Right.
So David puts the 10 concubines who were left behind into a guarded house and gives them pensions, but he doesn't sleep with them because they're gross now. They got raped.
Right.
So he allows them to live the rest of their lives as widows.
Yeah, how nice of him.
Yeah.
Rolling my eyes, sorry.
I know.
I know you guys can't see that, so.
Yeah. That's like that /S for sarcasm.
Right.
He then begins to sort out a defense against Sheba. He tells Amasa, the general,
to amass an army,
that he wishes to replace Joab.
Yep.
Yeah, he tells him to go get an army together.
Yeah.
To summon the Judahite troops.
I guess you could see some of the contention between David and Joab at this point, because he's trying to replace him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what I was saying. When we were going over why did Joab just murder this guy out of nowhere, it wasn't out of nowhere. And I had sympathy for Joab.
Yeah.
It's not cool what's happening.
Right, but also there might be some, he might be just trying to secure, Joab might be just trying to keep his job, too.
He is. He definitely is. But he's also trying to protect the king, and the kingdom.
Right.
And he can't do that if he's not in that position.
Right.
So, some of it, yes, is selfish, but I think some of it is also for the greater good,
Sure.
I don't know. People will do some crazy things to and they'll justify it to hold on to their shit.
Right.
So, anyway, David tells Amasa to go get those troops together within 3 days, but he fails. So then David tells Abishai and Joab to start pursuing Sheba, and they effectively put down the rebellion before it has even begun. But Amasa goes to meet Joab, and Joab stabs him in the stomach, killing him.
As I recall, they didn't even have to put down a rebellion because the fucking lady was like, "Hey, hold on a second. We'll toss his fucking head over the tower thing."
Yeah, so they begin to lay siege to Sheba's stronghold, but like you said, a wise woman is like, "Why do you want to destroy the city? That's mean."
Right.
And Joab's like, "We don't want to destroy the city. We just want Sheba."
Right.
So the wise woman cuts off his head and throws it to him from the city walls.
Yep.
And that ended the siege, like you said. So 2 Samuel then concludes with 4 chapters that are weird and stupid.
Yes, they were.
And they lie outside the chronological succession narrative of Saul and David.
Yeah.
And this is a narrative that will continue in the Book of Kings.
Okay.
So this is not going to get better.
Got it.
FYI. And that's why when I read that, I was like, oh, we need to do a summary recap then if we're not done yet with all these fucking people.
Right.
So chapter 21 is where we start going into weirdo land. And it's the story of the 3-year-long famine that takes place at the start of David's reign. And God explains it's a punishment for Saul's genocide of the Gibeonites.
Right.
And Israel was supposed to have spared them, but Saul had massacred them.
Yeah.
And so instead of being like I would be, which is like, that's not my fault, fuck, whatever.
Yeah, no, we got the 7 guys together and for the Amalek or whoever it was, and had to send them over to be executed.
Yeah, yeah. He asked what he could do to make amends, and they're like, give us 7 dudes, and so he does. He spares Mephibosheth, but he hands over 7 other... Huh?
He also handed over Mephibosheth.
No, he didn't.
There was 2 Mephibosheths.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, but the one that we know.
We think. Did they ever clarify that exactly?
Yeah, it's Jonathan's son he spared.
Okay.
The crippled one... That was Jonathan's son. He loved him. He spared him.
Okay.
But he did hand over the other descendants of Saul's through the other kids.
Right.
So their bodies were exposed at the start of the barley harvest.
Yeah, and there was the people that sat with them for the entire harvest
Rizpah,
period. And, yeah.
Because she was one of the moms.
Right.
And so then David agreed to take the bones of Saul, Jonathan, and all those killed by the Gibeonites, so those 7 kids, and bury them in the tomb of Kish at Zillah. And I don't know why that's important. I probably should have looked that up at some point.
Right, yeah.
But that pleases God, and the famine ends. Because we like murder.
Right.
So chapter 22 is that fucking song.
Yep.
And I'm not even...
No, it doesn't even need... It was stupid. How's that?
It was so fucking stupid.
Done.
And then chapter 23 is David's last words, in which he expresses gladness at the goodness of his house.
Right.
And it tells the stories of his mighty warriors and the guys known as the 30. The 3 and then the 30. Yeah. And then chapter 24 tells the story of more calamities on Israel, where God is angry once again at Israel.
Right.
And instructs David to take a census. And Joab has reservations, but it ultimately relents. And then when the results come in, David's like, what the fuck? Oh no, I did bad and wrong. And he begs God for mercy.
Yeah.
And this is where Gad the prophet, like, I don't know what happened to Nathan, but now we got Gad.
Right.
He offers David 3 choices of punishment. Either 3 years of plague, 3 months of pursuit by enemies, or 3 days of plague.
Right.
So famine, war, plague. And he chooses the plague.
Yep.
And 70,000 people die.
Right.
Because that makes perfect fucking sense.
In no way whatsoever.
Right. And so, after 3 days, the angel of death reaches Jerusalem. And he's on the threshing floor of a man named Araunah, the Jebusite.
Yep.
And God tells him to stop. And David's horrified, arguing that it should be him and his family that are punished.
Right.
And so, he buys the land, builds an altar, and stops the plague. And
hypothetically would have stopped anyway, but whatever.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, it was only supposed to be 3 days.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's another case of why do I have to do a thing that you already set the rules? You already said it would only be 3 days.
right.
So.
Yep.
And that was just like a really weird, odd place to end because there is more coming.
Sure.
About this guy.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand, like, why it starts in a new book.
I don't know exactly myself. I guess we'll find out.
I guess. I don't like the way that these are broken up.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we had done a pop quiz, we would have failed.
I thought I did pretty good.
You would have done great. I would have failed because I didn't remember which parts were in 1 Samuel and which parts were in 2 Samuel.
Yeah.
I barely remembered some of the stories.
Right.
So I am glad we did a recap.
Okay. Well, that's our recap for 2 Samuel and 1 Samuel.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we'll be coming back with 2 more episodes. One's going to be the...
You're always wrong.
The Contradictions.
You're always wrong.
And the other one will be the...
Sacrilegious Book Club.
That one. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Husband.
Wife.
Do you know what we're doing now?
Bible Contradictions.
No, it's called You're Always Wrong.
Jesus Christ. Just why?
Because singing makes everything better.
Does it really, though?
It really does.
Okay.
Just ask anybody.
Anybody, huh?
Mm-hmm. Besides, you're always wrong, so, you know.
Okay. So, yeah, we're going to be doing Bible Contradictions for 2 Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go ahead and do it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so let's just jump right into this 2 Samuel discrepancies and contradictions.
Yeah, okay.
So, how did Saul die?
Saul died, I don't remember. Didn't he die in a chair? No, that was somebody else. That was Sam. Shit. Saul. There's so many people that die in the Bible. Wait, oh, that's right. He fell on a sword, but no, somebody else decapitated him.
You have to pick one.
But
you have to pick one.
I go with he fell on a sword.
Okay, so you're right. He committed suicide.
Right.
In 1 Samuel chapter 31, verses 4 through 6, somewhere thereabouts, he says, "Therefore Saul took a sword and fell upon it." So Saul died.
Right.
But you're always wrong. Because not only did he commit suicide, it was also an Amalekite, the Philistines, and God, depending.
Holy shit. That's a lot of fucking, like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was all kinds of wrong.
Yeah.
And right.
And right. So, but that was 1 Samuel, right?
Yeah.
In 2 Samuel chapter 1, verses 8 through 10, it says something like, "And he, Saul, said unto me, Who art thou? And I answered him, I'm an Amalekite. He said unto me again, Stand, I pray thee, upon me and slay me. So I stood upon him and I slew him."
Ah.
So this dude says, "I'm an Amalekite." He says this to David.
Right, right. Yeah.
"I'm an Amalekite and I killed him."
Right.
But then also in 2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 12, it was the Philistines. The Philistines had slain Saul.
Huh.
And then
Jesus.
in 1 Chronicles, which we haven't got to yet.
Yeah, but okay.
But we're approaching the Kings and the Chronicles.
But just to add to the ridiculousness of how many people killed Saul.
Yeah, it was God. In 1 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 14. "So Saul died for his transgression, which he committed against the Lord, even against the word of the Lord, which he kept not, and also for asking counsel of one that had a familiar spirit," the witch of Endor,
right,
"to inquire of it, and inquired not of the Lord. Therefore he slew him, and turned the kingdom unto David the son of Jesse."
Interesting.
So that one's kind of questionable because God slew him, but using other people.
Right,
Either
right.
the Philistines and Amalekite or
even
suicide.
himself.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, fine.
Number 2. Did all of Saul's family die with him? Yes or no?
No.
No. You are right. In 2 Samuel chapter 2, verses 1 through 7, thereabouts it goes on, "Your master Saul is dead, but Abner took Ishbosheth, the the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim and made him king. And then also in 2 Samuel chapter 21, verses 1 through 14.
Yeah.
Says something like, the king took the 2 sons of Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, whom she bare unto Saul, and the 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul, and he delivered them into the hands of the Gibeonites, and they hanged them in the hill before the Lord.
Right.
And they fell all 7 together and were put to death. So no.
And that's also not even mentioning Michal.
Right. Well, it did
really.
actually,
Well, okay.
but I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So no, all of Saul's family did not die with him, but guess what?
But they did.
You're always wrong.
Right.
Because also, yes, all of Saul's family did die with him. In 1 Chronicles, which again we haven't got to yet,
okay.
chapter 10, verse 6, so Saul died and his 3 sons and all of his house died together. The end.
Well, they kind of said that. I thought they said that also in 1 Samuel.
I thought they did too, but I didn't see that listed on the site I was using. So,
but it seemed like they did though.
But I didn't want to go. I don't know. I was busy. I had a lot to look up. So
right. Okay.
They probably did.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. Number 3. How many Philistine foreskins did David buy his first wife Michal with? 100 or 200? Which one?
200.
200. You're right. Because in 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 27, it says, wherefore David arose and went, he and his men, and slew of the Philistines 200 men. And David brought their foreskins, and they gave them in full tale to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him Michal, his daughter, to wife.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. But also, guess what?
I'm wrong.
You're always wrong.
Fuck.
It was 100. Because in 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 14, it says, and David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, deliver me my wife Michal, which I espoused to me for 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And we called that one out at the time.
Well, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, he got 200, man.
Okay, so number 4. When did Absalom rebel against David? Here's your choices. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
After 40 years or less than 40 years?
Did you say 40 years?
When did Absalom rebel against David? After or less than 40 years?
Less than.
That's what you would
40?
think, right? Yeah.
I thought it was 4 years.
That's what I thought. But, okay, so let's go with less than 4 years. Okay, so you're right.
Oh, you said 40 or 4?
40. 40.
Okay.
40.
Okay.
Okay, so you're right. Less than 40 years, because David only ruled for a total of 40 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2 Samuel chapter 5, verse 4, it says David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years.
Okay,
so,
right, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But guess what?
What?
You're always wrong.
But we can't be if you only ruled. Okay.
No.
Okay.
You just don't know.
All right.
You don't know. The
apparently.
Bible can have it both ways.
Yeah.
Because in 2 Samuel chapter 15, verses 7 through 10, it says, and it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go and pay my vow, which I have vowed unto the Lord in Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, as soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron. So,
okay.
He either waited 40 years or he didn't.
I'm going to go with didn't.
I would think didn't as well, because
right.
David only ruled for 40 years.
Right,
but,
so that makes no sense.
Right, but, the Bible says...
Unless they're counting, like, his 40 years, like he was born and then waited until he was 40 to do it. Like, he waited until he was 40. That's 40 years.
Well, I just don't know about all that.
I'm just saying.
But
I'm just trying to help the apologist,
Bible, the apologist.
Yeah,
okay.
so.
Yeah. Well, the Bible's never wrong. It has it both ways, always.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. How long was the Ark of the Covenant at Abinadab's house?
3 months.
20 years or more
what?
More than 40 years.
What?
Not the time when they were like, oh shit!
Oh.
Not that time. Not the time that it killed Uzzah.
I'm going to go with 20 because it had to be within David's reign.
Right?
So, like, I would think that it wouldn't be the whole fucking time.
Exactly,
like,
right?
Yeah.
So, you're right. It was 20 years because in 1 Samuel chapter 7, verses 1 and 2, it says, for it was 20 years and all the house of Israel lamented after the Lord. And that was before Saul was made king even.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so 20 years, right?
Yeah.
But you're always wrong.
Awesome.
It was more than 40 years also. Because
wow.
Saul David's predecessor was king for 40 years. So the ark must have been at Abinadab's house for more than 40 years, since it was taken to Abinadab's house before Saul became king and remained there until David succeeded him.
Interesting.
And in 2 Samuel chapter 6, verses 2 and 3, it says, "And David arose to bring up thence the ark of God, and they set the ark of God upon a new cart and brought it out of the house of Abinadab that was in Gibeah."
Interesting.
Yeah, we didn't catch that one.
No, we didn't.
Because it's math.
But yeah, it's obscure. I mean, it's not obscure. It's right there. But I mean, like, it would require you to, like, remember exact times and things that happen exactly.
And that's what the internet is for.
Right, yeah.
So this is fun.
It is.
Okay, number 6.
Okay.
Is dancing a sin? Yes or no?
Oh, I mean, David danced, so I'm going to go with no.
No, okay. You are right. It's not a sin.
Okay.
Because first, I mean, let's go way back into Exodus. Miriam and the Israelite women danced to celebrate the drowning of Pharaoh's army.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Miriam... in Exodus chapter 15, verses 20 and 21, "And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea." I remember commenting when we read that, like, oh, so Footloose got it wrong. Dancing is in the Bible. Okay. Then there was also David killed Goliath, and the women danced in every city of Israel.
Right.
In 1 Samuel chapter 18, verses 6 through 7, Saul hath slain his thousands and David his 10,000s.
Right.
That's what they were singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, as you pointed out, David danced half naked in front of God, which God loved.
Right.
In 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 14, and David danced before the Lord with all his might, shaking his ding-dong back and forth.
Yep.
Because all he wore was his fucking ephod.
Right.
Yeah. So, no. Dancing is not a sin. But guess what?
It is.
You're always wrong.
Okay.
Because, yes, dancing is absolutely a sin. When Moses returned from Mount Sinai and found the people dancing around a golden calf, he and God went on a murderous rampage.
But I thought that was because of the golden calf.
That's what I thought too. So that one was questionable.
Okay.
But there were a few other places, but they were way out of our reach that we haven't read. Like, I don't mind stretching into Kings and Chronicles a little bit because that's still part of the same story we're reading. But there were so many other ones. But I just wanted that.
So apparently later dancing becomes taboo. Apparently God at some point's like, these people really can't dance. I'm just going to make this like against the rules. So
someday white people are going to take over religion,
right?
And white man cannot dance.
Yeah. Let's just not this one right now.
Yeah. I don't blame them.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So number 7, how many children did Michal, David's first wife, have?
None.
None or 5.
What?
None or 5.
Oh wait. Oh, hold on. She was... Oh, because some of the people that they killed were Michael's sons.
Maybe.
I think.
None or 5.
Hypothetically, though, they said that she had none.
Pick an answer.
I mean,
none or 5.
I have to go with none because the 5
that
came
was
out
so
of like...
straight, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. In 2 Samuel chapter 6, verses 20 through 23, somewhere thereabouts, it says, "Therefore Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no child unto the day of her death."
Right.
Because she had made fun of David and was like, "Stop dancing, you look so fucking stupid."
Well, but yeah,
so,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
none.
Right.
Okay. So, but you're always wrong.
Of course.
Okay? Because, and then 2 Samuel chapter 21, verses 1 through 14.
Yeah.
Okay, this gets a little confusing. Okay? The king took the 2 sons of Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, right, whom she bore unto Saul,
right,
Armani and Mephibosheth, not the Mephibosheth that was crippled. That was Jonathan's son, not that guy. So those 2 guys and the 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul. And he delivered them into the hands of the Gibeonites, and they hanged them in the hill before the Lord. And after that, God was entreated for the land.
Now remember, Michal was married to another person for a while. No?
No.
Okay.
Here we go. Here's what this is about.
Okay.
In the interpretation that we read, it did not say Michal, because we would have been like, excuse me, what?
Right.
In the interpretation that we read, it says Merab.
Ah.
And I looked, and really depends on which interpretation you read.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm like, excuse me, who the fuck is Merab?
Right. Yeah, I don't... Yeah.
And did somebody just take it upon themselves to just, you know what? It says Michael didn't have any. Let's just put a different name that starts with M. Nobody will notice.
Right.
But the interwebs noticed.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They noticed.
Right.
And so they were like, no. It said they took the 5 sons of Michael.
Okay.
But Michael didn't have any.
Right.
So did Michael have 0 or 5?
Right. Yeah.
So, but you know what? You could be right. Maybe it was 5 that she had with her previous guy.
Right.
While she was waiting around
I'm
for,
just saying.
What's his butt to come and get her.
Right.
You know?
I mean, that's the only thing I could see as a possibility.
Sure, I'll buy that. You know
Yeah.
what? I'll accept that. I'll
Right.
allow it.
Okay.
Maybe you're not always wrong.
Right.
Okay?
I mean...
But the Bible's always
But I'm definitely
wrong.
at the most half right.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and it's not your fault.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, number 8, last question.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
How many sons did Absalom have? 3 or none?
Oh, Absalom. I don't recall him having any, actually.
I recalled him having some because, remember, his brother had raped his sister.
Yeah.
And then so Absalom killed his brother Ammon or whatever. And,
he did have a family.
And then
That's
he
right.
had a family,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's
that
right.
he wasn't allowed to see
No,
while he went
you're
and
right.
hid.
You're right. Yep. Yeah. So he did have some.
He did
yes.
have some, right?
Okay, yeah.
So 3, okay? And in 2 Samuel, chapter 14, verse 27, it says, and unto Absalom there were born 3 sons.
Right, okay.
Which, yeah, he missed them while he was hiding out at Grandpa's.
Sure.
And then, he came back and was happy because he got to spend time with his family.
Right.
But then in 2 Samuel, chapter 18, verse 18, now Absalom said, I have not son to keep my name in remembrance. So he had 3 sons, but then literally 4 chapters later, it says, just kidding, he had none.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really weird.
That's very weird.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, you will notice that I mentioned that there were some contradictions that we haven't actually reached yet in Chronicles and Kings.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And I allowed them because we are getting into Kings and Chronicles.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I want to point out that the ones that I drew were only the most relevant that I felt I could get away with.
Sure.
Having said that, oh my God, the next 4 chapters of 1st and 2nd Kings and then 1st and 2nd Chronicles,
Yeah.
we are going to find so fucking many discrepancies. Oh, wow. Yeah. So that is another reason I allowed them, because I wanted to be able to say that and to point out that Jesus Christ, they will rain upon us so many contradictions.
Is it like there as many contradictions as there are sands in the beach?
Probably, and stars in the sky. Yeah. And they live there to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
So
yeah.
That thus ends this episode of You're Always Wrong. Husband.
Wife.
Guess what we're doing?
Just do it.
Sacrilegious Book Club.
All right.
That's what we're doing.
Sacrilegious Book Club.
Yep.
Okay.
We're still covering Asimov's Guide to the Bible, and we're in the Old Testament, starting with the book of Genesis.
All right. Well,
today, we are covering. Yeah, shut up.
Sorry, it sounded the way you the intonation was sounded like we were coming to the end. So I was like, okay, let's do the end.
No.
Okay.
Today we are covering pages 83 through 100.
All right.
Now I'm done.
Now you're done.
Cut off hippopotamus.
Let's end it then. And let's go get... No, I mean, not end it. Let's go into the thing. Let's read the book.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, something else that I wish that I had said in the intro, but you were so impatient, and so I had to hurry up and just get it done.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's only one more section after this.
Only one more section?
Of Genesis.
Oh. I was like, we didn't finish the book that fast, I know.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
But the next section is pages 100 to 117.
Yeah.
And that's the last section that he covers of Genesis. And I'm very excited about that because Did I mention that some of it's a slog?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not going to be less of a slog when we get into the Ark building and shit like that.
Shut your face. Because I'm just excited because forward motion, you know?
Right.
It means something.
Finish something. Or almost finish something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, today we are starting on page 83 of Asimov's Guide to the Bible.
Okay.
The Old Testament.
Yep.
With Moab and Ammon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you remember who those guys are?
No.
I know you were about to say kind of, but you don't.
I remember the name Moab, and I don't.
It's a
really
place.
That's
Moab.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
a
that's
place,
right. That's
like the Moabites.
Yeah. That's they were up on that plateau. That's where Balaam went to go meet that king, and then stuff.
So. It's also a group of people, which is relevant. Both of those things are relevant here because here's what happened. I don't know if you remember.
Moses married a Moabite woman.
Right, but I'm not talking
I know,
about him.
It just reminded me, that's all.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Chill. So, the part that I'm at is not Moses.
No, I know.
Okay, so the part that we left off with was Sodom and Gomorrah getting destroyed.
Yeah.
And, what's his butt saved Lot, his nephew Lot.
Yeah.
But Lot's wife turned back and
turned to salt,
and that was sad. Womp womp.
Yeah.
So, but Lot and his 2 daughters escaped from the destruction of Sodom.
Right.
And do you remember what his daughters were about?
Yes.
It was grody. They thought that the destruction was not just there, but that it was universal. So they literally thought that
it was the end of the world.
They were the only possible mothers of future humanity. And that's the only forgivable thing that it can even start to try to put to what they did, which is get their father Lot drunk and then hump him.
Right.
And then they both gave birth to the nation of the Moabites and the Ammonites.
Yeah.
So Moab and Ammon.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So that's why that's relevant.
Okay.
So they are descended from Lot.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's that section.
Okay.
The next section is Gerar, and it's real short. That's page 84. And Abraham was like, bitch, bye. So he took off from the destruction, and he bounced over to Gerar.
Okay.
And that was in land that would eventually become run by the Philistines.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
But that's that.
Right.
So.
Well, that was, okay,
that was Gerar.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I just like how I summarized it.
Yeah.
Bitch, bye.
Stuff. Right.
Yeah. Okay, so the next section is Beersheba, not to be confused with Bathsheba.
Right.
Okay, Beersheba, which starts on page 86.
Okay.
So there was that whole bit with Abraham and Sarah and their concubines and all that.
Yeah.
You know, where he had her servant and his servant, and he married all of them.
Right.
And had 1 million babies and
yeah,
whatever. So Abraham and Sarah gave birth to Isaac.
Right.
And because of that, they cast out, at Sarah's insistence, they cast out Hagar and Ishmael.
Right, right. Which I thought was really shitty.
It was. But we'll come back to that in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So water supplies mark the importance of a place.
Obviously, because they were all about the fucking wells.
Yes, exactly. Well, they lived in an arid desert, so
right.
It was very important to establish those. So when Abraham set up a well and established ownership of it with the king of Gerar, that was considered the founding of the town of Beersheba.
Got it.
So he
so
set
all it
that
takes
up.
To found a town is a well.
Well, no, he bought the land. He bought the land and then set up the well.
Got it.
And so by owning the land and then setting up a well, that establishes a town. It's not just, you have to have local agreement that area belongs to you. You can't just set up a well, and it's not like putting the flag on the moon and saying that belongs to the U.S. now. Bye.
Right.
So a reliable well obviously is essential for permanent communities, and as you pointed out, that's why Genesis goes on and on about the tradition of digging wells.
Yeah, I got sick of hearing about fucking wells.
So did I. But it makes sense why they would think it's important.
Right.
Even up to the point when they started putting all this down into a written format.
Right.
It was still important.
Yeah.
So when Palestine was under Turkish rule prior to World War I, Beersheba was a small village with some wells still in existence.
Huh.
The largest of which was called the Well of Abraham.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, that may or may not be the well that Abraham set up.
But it's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, but this is even more like, I don't know if it's cool, but interesting. Today, Abraham's Well is a historical well which houses the Archaeology Museum of Beersheba, where you can book tours.
Wow.
Literally Monday through Friday, shorter hours on Friday, and they have a sign that says no pets allowed. So I just thought that was interesting. Like, you can literally go there and visit a place that, even if it's not that specific well, it still dates back pretty far.
Right.
And that's just cool.
And there's some sense that it could be
At
least related to Abraham's Well.
Right. If it's not specifically Abraham's Well, it's still in the right neighborhood.
Right.
And that in itself is cool.
Yeah.
So that's that section. Going on to page 87, we're going to talk about Paran.
Okay.
Now, remember we said Ishmael and Hagar took off?
Yep.
Well, they got kicked out. But
right.
when they got kicked out, they took off for Paran, and he took an Egyptian wife. And the relevance of that is that Ishmael's mother, Hagar, was an Egyptian.
Okay.
So the Ishmaelites are all from Ishmael.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that happened.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so next section is Moriah, page 87.
Okay.
And this is where Abraham almost offered up his long-awaited son Isaac as a human sacrifice.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
It was bullshit. Now, the town of Moriah is not mentioned anywhere else in the Bible or otherwise.
Interesting.
Yeah. Tradition among some Jews indicates that it's the site at which the Temple of Solomon would eventually be built. Now, we don't know about the Temple of Solomon because for us, where we're reading the Bible, Solomon has only just been born as David's son.
Yeah.
So that is also referred to as Zion in most biblical references. So some people are like, oh, I wonder if, but it's not very likely based on history and geography.
Sure.
All that. That's a stretch.
There's a lot of not very likelies in the Bible.
Right. But people want to make connections, and they want things to coincidentally tie together and create this greater sense of continuity, history, tradition.
Right.
And they just want it to be beautiful.
Real bad. Like, real bad.
I mean, we do that sometimes in our lives, not religious stuff, but we're like, oh, okay, think about how we're like, we thought it was really cool that the well of Abraham just now.
Yeah.
Like, if that was still the same well, that would be cool.
Right.
Why would it be cool?
History.
I don't know, but it's still cool.
History.
Right. Well,
like, to be able to go visit the well of a guy who basically spawned all of the shitstorm that is Western and Middle Eastern religions.
The three Abrahamic religions.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, insofar, like, that guy is responsible for a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, a lot.
I mean, do you think that, like, religious wars are blood on his hands?
I mean, he didn't know any of this was going to transpire.
Neither did Jesus, for that matter.
Right. But, I mean, there is an awful lot that has spawned from Abraham,
True.
So, I mean, like, that is it's a big thing.
Right.
So, I don't know.
What hell hath you wrought, Abraham?
Right.
So, the next section is Aram and Cheesed. Just kidding. It's Chesed or Cheesed or...
Cheese-it?
Not Cheese-it.
No,
or
not Cheese-it. Okay.
I'm going to say Chesed.
Okay.
Because that just sounds most, I don't know, accenty.
Sure.
And that's on page 88.
Okay.
So, Abraham's brother Nahor, back in Haran, begat lots of begats.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? He did. The only two that I'm going to mention here are Aram, and that's the Arameans.
Okay.
But there's a question because was he born to Shem or Kemuel? If he was the son of Shem, then that indicates the Arameans were independent at the time that Genesis was reduced to writing.
Okay.
If he was the son of Kemuel, or Kemuel, that indicates the kinship of the Arameans to the Israelites. So there's some question there. And, that always gets you in trouble when you have people's names and you're not sure who to attribute them to, or if it's like
right.
two different guys with the same name. Like, you just never know which way to go.
Yeah.
Chesed is the father of the Chaldeans.
Okay.
Or Chaldeans.
Sure.
Which, that comes back. We talk about them some bit.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca, who is the daughter of Bethuel. She's also the first cousin of Isaac. Which
yeah, I remember this.
Means that she married her cousin, which is gross.
Right.
And she becomes, therefore, one of the ancestresses of the Israelites.
Right. Okay.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that Rebecca is still to this day a very popular name among Christians and Jews alike.
Right.
So,
as far as women in the Bible go, she was a big thing.
Right. Even though she isn't given much mention, she's given some mention, and that's kind of cool.
And is the mother of...
Right. That's cool. Next section starts on page 89, and it is Machpelah. Abraham...
Sounds like a Klingon dish.
It really does. Machpelah.
Right.
Yeah. Abraham and Sarah move back to Hebron, right?
Uh-huh.
So they're going along, and then Sarah eventually dies, of course. That's sad. Abraham purchases the burial plot from the local Hittites.
For a certain amount of silver.
Mm-hmm. And then that's where he is eventually buried too, along with his son and his son Isaac and Isaac's son and wife.
Right.
So there's like this whole bunch of people
that got buried there,
Yeah. Traditionally, the site of this cave has been located and is enclosed in fortress-like stone walls, the enclosure of which is called Haram, which means the forbidden place, and a mosque is present there.
So they know where this place is?
Traditionally. We think. That means...
Oh, so like they think they know the place, but they're not like 100% sure. Yeah.
And clearly not enough archaeology has been done on that site, and there's a mosque there now.
At least as of 1967.
Right. 68. This book came out in 68.
That's why I.
Yeah. So, it may or may not be the site. It's
right.
still probably some kind of historical thing, but maybe not, biblically speaking.
Okay.
So, Mesopotamia, next section, starts on page 90.
Okay.
So, Isaac needs a wife, but not a Canaanite one, obviously, because gross, right? We hate the Canaanites. Ooh. So, Abraham sends a guy over to his brother Nahor in Haran.
Okay.
Because he's like, yo, my son needs a wife.
Right.
So the area surrounding Haran is only called Mesopotamia by Greek translations, not Hebrew ones.
Okay.
Not originally. The original Hebrew term is Aram Naharaim, which, his brother is Nahor. So Naharaim.
Got it.
Yeah. And Aram Naharaim means between the rivers, which denotes the Tigris-Euphrates region.
Sure.
So,
okay.
We just have to remember as we're going through this, all of these people are not actually persons. They're all nations and tribes. Mostly tribes.
Right.
And so when we say somebody fought somebody else, what we mean is this tribe fought that tribe.
Right.
And that's going to be relevant a little bit later in this episode. So just hang on to that notion. And I know I keep repeating that. So I apologize if it's old hat. It's just very important to keep that front and center of all that we're reading here in the book of Genesis.
Okay.
Currently, and when I say currently, I mean as of the time that Asimov wrote this, which as you pointed out is 1968.
Right.
It's referred to via the native name of the land, which is Iraq.
Okay.
And Iraq does not actually, or at least it didn't at this time, house Haran within its borders. It's like right outside.
Got it.
I'll tell you in a minute where it is, but that's a different section.
All right.
So I just thought that was interesting. Like, oh, we know Iraq.
Right.
We know that one.
Yep.
So the next section is Syria, page 91.
Okay.
And so Isaac marries Rebecca, gross.
Right.
Whose brother is Laban the Syrian. Okay, whatever. But Greek Syrian means Hebrew Aramaean. So there you go.
Got it.
And that area, Syria, houses Haran within its borders. So,
okay. So Haran is in Syria then?
Yeah.
Or what is... Okay.
Yeah. Which is near Iraq.
Right.
And as we learned during one of our last episodes, I can't remember which one, Damascus is the capital there.
Right.
So,
yep.
Yay. Okay, next section, Midian or Median, page 92.
Okay.
Abraham took another wife, Keturah, who bore him lots of kids, among them Midian and Shua.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And those are eponyms of various Arabian tribes, which we know.
Yep.
And the Midianites and the Ishmaelites are used almost synonymously in the Bible due to their close proximity. So anytime you hear Midianite, you can also think Ishmaelite and vice versa.
Okay. And we talked about this in the last, I think, book club maybe, or sometime recently. But the names that we're using for these people who had kids and what have you, they're all tribes. They're all... It's not. We're not really talking about people necessarily. We're talking
literally what I just said.
No, I know. I'm just reminding. I'm just saying, like, you know, because the Bible is very people, or like specifically people.
The names begat the names.
Right.
But it's the
they're referring to tribes and they're referring to groups.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, there's going to be something that I say later on that kind of makes me appreciate something a little better than I did the first time through.
Got it.
But anyway, next section is Edom, page 92.
Okay.
Isaac and Rebekah have twin sons. Do you remember their names?
I do not.
Esau and Jacob.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And Esau, they like chased each other and fought each other and did all kinds of stuff. And like one was like trading things for, you know, birthright shit and all kinds of stuff.
Exactly. So Esau was the hunter. He's an outdoors man, loud and crass, and he was loved by Isaac. And as the older one, the one that came out first, he was entitled to the birthright as well as the father's blessing as chief heir.
I remember I was pissed off because he traded it for soup.
Right, but hold on a second, because I just said something that when we first read through the Bible, we were kind of confused.
Okay.
The birthright is a separate thing from the father's blessing as chief heir. And so when those are two separate items.
Okay.
So we were confused because Jacob later on tricks him in order to get the blessing.
Right.
And we were like, I thought you already fucking had it. I don't understand.
Right.
It was two separate items.
Okay.
So that, for whatever reason, either it wasn't phrased really well, go figure, it was the Bible. Or it just didn't click, or the way Isaac Asimov phrased it made it make sense.
Got it.
It's two separate items.
It's still not clear to me what the difference is.
I don't know what the difference is, but it is very clear to them that it's two separate things.
Okay.
So you can be the heir but not have your father's blessing, and vice versa.
Got it.
And you can have the birthright and not be the heir.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Sure.
I'm not quite sure how that all works out, but to have both comes automatic if you're the firstborn son.
Got it.
So Esau gets renamed Edom, as in the Edomites.
Right.
Which means red, after coming in hungry and tired, begging Jacob to feed him some lentils.
Yeah.
Which Jacob only does after demanding and receiving the birthright in exchange. So that's the first thing he does.
Right.
He gets the birthright. I think maybe the birthright is just like, I get all of the... That it doesn't mean I'm the heir. It means that I get all the special privileges of being firstborn.
Okay.
So, like, I get the top bunk. I get the pick of the larger bedroom. You know what I mean? Like,
We're
how
just
we
guessing,
would.
but...
I'm just guessing, but that would be how I would maybe differentiate birthright, like the privileges of being born first, from blessing as the chief heir.
Right.
Because otherwise, what's the point of having two separate things?
Sure.
So he gets the birthright. Okay, he's not yet the heir.
Got it.
He's just got the birthright, so he gets the top bunk.
Yep.
Okay. Jacob then later on, when what's his name, Isaac is sick and tired and old and dying and shit.
Yeah.
Jacob steals the father's blessing by dressing in Esau's clothes and pretending to be his brother.
Right.
So
he even put on like fucking goat skin or something
to feel hairy and like an outdoorsman.
Right.
So, as I was like reading through these notes, I was kind of thinking that Esau and Jacob were kind of like Cain and Abel, but in reverse.
Yeah.
Because Esau was the hunter, but he got tricked.
Yeah.
Or robbed.
Right.
And Jacob was the quiet one, whereas that was Abel in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in the first place, we've got the hunter is Cain, and he prevails. But here, the hunter is Esau, who gets...
Wait, I thought Cain was the farmer guy.
Mm-mm. Are you sure?
I'm pretty
sure
about that, actually.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure about that.
You could be right. I don't fucking know.
Because I remember talking about how when they showed their things to God, and all Cain had was just some vegetables, and that might be white, and like God was going off about like the lamb sacrifices that Abel had made, and that made Cain jealous, and that was what contributed to him murdering him.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I think I'm right.
Okay. Well, because they would have been arguing about the settledness. No, hold on. They were all, you know what? I really can't remember. I have it really mixed up in my mind. But anyway, the comparison still stands, whether it's in comparison of them switching or comparison of being exactly the same. The comparison still stands that, one of them is more outdoorsy and one of them is quiet and, mama's boy.
Right.
So, I'll have to look that up because I'm curious now which one was which. But, at any rate, this represents how the Israelites, Jacob, the younger brother, entered Canaan only after the Edomites, which is Esau, the older brother, was already established.
Got it.
So that's the part I was referencing when we think of these people as being tribes, not persons.
Right.
Because the Israelites came in and took something that was already established. So, the younger brother came in and then ruled over the Edomites.
Got it.
So that's what that section really meant.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And so that kind of clears up that a little bit.
Right.
But the next section is Bethel, page 93.
Okay.
So Rebecca sends Jacob away to protect him from his jealous older brother. Because she's like, you stole his birthright as well as his blessing from his father, so you need to get your ass away from here.
Right.
You need to go get safe.
And that was his favorite. That was her favorite. Like her favorite son.
Yep. So she was also like, you can go get a wife from the descendants of Nahor,
Right.
That'll be great. Stay safe, get a wife. Awesome.
Yeah.
So while Jacob was on the run, he had a dream of a ladder, Jacob's ladder.
Yeah.
Which it was more likely a ziggurat.
Okay.
And, it extended to heaven and angels were ascending and descending.
Mm-hmm.
And he named that place Bethel, which means house of God, which is why it was more likely a ziggurat than a ladder. And there was a holy temple or structure used to stand on that site.
Okay.
And that would kind of go with why he named it House of God or whatever.
Sure.
So the next section is Reuben and his brothers, page 94. So we moved right ahead.
Right.
Okay. Jacob got to Haran and he married Leah and Rachel.
Yeah.
And there was, some trickery there.
Sure.
And they were the daughters of Laban, who was Rebekah's brother.
Right.
And so he literally married his first cousins. Gross.
Right.
Okay. Gross.
Yep.
So, I'm going to real quick buzz through the names of the children.
Okay.
The wife, Leah, that was the one that he married first, accidentally.
Yep.
She gave birth to Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulon, and Dinah, who is the only daughter mentioned.
Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Then his wife that he actually had wanted to marry in the first place, Rachel, gave birth to Joseph, which we learn about later is the guy that got sold into Egypt, slavery, and the coat of many colors, and and Benjamin, which was the one that the little brother they all loved.
Right.
Okay, so Jacob also married 2 concubines, Bilhah, who gave birth to Dan and Naphtali, and Zilpah, who gave birth to Gad and Asher.
No wonder Dan was always like a second afterthought type thing.
Yeah.
He was not really one of the true...
Yeah, he was...
tribes.
From a concubine.
Right.
So these represent the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's interesting because, like, it really... Like, you know, the favorites are Jacob and Benjamin as far as the tribes go. As, like, you know, when they're talking about favoritisms and stuff like that.
You mean Joseph and Benjamin. Jacob's the father.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah. So they're like, the favorites, and it works out that way in, like, further stories, too. So, like, it's really kind of
And Joseph
neat.
and Benjamin are from his one true love, Rachel.
Right. Yeah.
And then the other one that's important is Judah, and I'll tell you about that guy in a minute.
I like knowing that the reason Dan is because of, you know, this. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's born of a concubine.
Right.
Not even the second wife, just a servant.
Right.
When the Israelite kingdom was divided, the Joseph tribes dominated the north.
Okay.
While the Judah tribes dominated the south. So Joseph and Judah were the 2 most important tribes mentioned, even though we hear about the Benjaminites quite a bit.
Well, yeah, because it was the baby and I mean, like, they were the crowd favorite, you know?
Yeah, exactly. All 12 tribes are Israelites, but only the Judah tribes are Judeans, which are Jews.
Interesting.
Yeah, that struck me. I was like, wait, what?
And I'm assuming these are, at least at the time, considered different races of people, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Different tribes, different races of people.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So next section is Seir, or Seir.
Okay.
S-E-I-R. Page 96. Jacob prospered in Haran and was finally able to leave with his wives and children. You know, remember he was, like, tied to Rachel and Leah's father.
Yeah.
And he kept not being allowed to leave.
Right.
Which is bullshit. He wanted to reconcile with his shitty brother Esau.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, with his good brother Esau. Jacob was the one that, you know, was the bad guy there.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he said why I just said shitty brother.
Right.
Jacob was the shitty brother.
Yeah.
I think because we hear so much about Jacob, like in my mind, he's got to be the good one. But wait, no, he's the fucking asshole.
Right. Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I screwed this guy over, so I'm not sure how this is going to go.
Right. I remember we thought they were going to get into a fight because Esau was amassing, like, bringing an army in. Like, we're like, oh, what's going to happen?
So Seir is Edom, okay? Land which would eventually be occupied by the Edomites.
Right.
And Seir is also a mountain range.
Okay.
But Seir is also the highest peak of that range, which is called Mount Seir, but also Mount Hor, because the land used to be occupied by the Horites.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's Seir.
Got it.
Okay? You got it?
Sure.
Okay, next section.
Okay.
Israel, page 97. Jacob is totally scared to meet his brother again for the reasons we mentioned, and he's concerned about crossing the river and leaving his family vulnerable because it's the Jabbok River.
Sure.
Or the Jabbok River.
Right.
And it's tough. And so he's like, oh no, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
He gets his family across, like he goes over early, he gets up early, takes everybody across, gets them over there safely, and then he's alone on the side, you know, he's the last one to cross, basically.
Sure.
So he's alone over there, and a guy shows up and wrestles with him all night.
I remember that, yeah.
And we were like, the
fuck is that?
Yeah. In the morning, the guy names him Israel.
Right. We assumed that had to have been God or something.
Right. But what this is tribes.
Right.
Not people.
Yeah.
So this means that up until that point, Jacob was this man over here giving birth to all these tribes, and then he crosses this river,
and
then they are the children of Israel.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point I was getting to.
Got it.
Where I was like, Oh.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
It was very, like, poetically written, and you're supposed to be able to read through the lines and understand that, okay, clearly Jacob did not really wrestle a guy all night, because that's just fucking weird.
Right.
No, okay.
Well, but there's a lot of weird shit in the Bible,
there
too.
Is.
So, I mean, it's hard to say.
No, definitely. But this one, I'm like, okay, I got this one. This one makes sense.
Right.
It was when he crossed the river, he got everybody over, and he was the last one over, and as soon as he crossed over, they were no longer just individual people. They became solid. We are the tribes. We are the 12 tribes.
But I feel like this symbolism with regard to tribes is exclusively in Genesis, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, because you get further on and there are actual stories of people and kings and stuff.
When you get into the Deuteronomistic history.
Right.
And yes, you are right, because it's different authors.
Right.
Putting it all together.
Sure.
So we've got these people early on just describing basically the history of the people of the earth.
Right. Yeah.
And so they are very...
They told stories of people to remember all the people.
Yes. Exactly. So, I mean, you're not wrong. You just have to remember why.
Right.
Is all.
Right. So really, we're not basing... I mean, maybe there were really some of these people or something. Like, maybe Abraham really existed, right?
Who knows?
Whatever. Fuck cares. But we're really just... We could just be describing groups of people. Mm-hmm. Like, and maybe, Abrahamic religions aren't based on Abraham, but on Abrahams.
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, just a group of people that was existing back then.
Exactly. That makes it a little easier to swallow. Like, instead of just one guy thinking about groups of people, makes it easier to understand how they were trying to just boil all this down to make it easier to remember and retain.
Sure. But the game of telephone also has a tendency to lose meaning as to what the original intent was.
And then keep in mind the people putting this all together were writing so much of this.
Sorry.
The people putting this all together were writing so much of this from their own perspective and understanding of what had happened, which adds another layer of confusion.
Definitely.
So the last section here for today is Shechem, which starts on page 98.
Okay.
So Esau greets Jacob without a grudge and treats him kindly.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah.
So Jacob's like, awesome, but can you leave me alone now? Thanks, okay, bye.
Right.
Or, okay, thanks, bye.
Right.
Yeah. And so then he and his fam move in peace to the city of Shechem.
Okay.
So that reconciliation was real short. It's like, you're not going to kill me? Okay, awesome.
Moving along.
Yep. Here's some beer. Maybe we'll get together never.
Sure.
Yeah. So he moves to the city of Shechem, which places a safe distance between him and where he grew up. Meaning between him and his brother.
So it sounds like maybe they brokered a deal, like, you stay over there and I'll leave you the fuck alone. But you come any closer and,
That's more likely.
Right.
That is more likely. I mean, if I was Esau, I would be like, it's been years. I have had some mental health and therapy and medication, and I'm over it. I'm not going to kill you, but I do not want you around.
Like, it's good to see you, bro, but never again.
Yeah. Like, you're clearly not trustworthy. I'm glad you have all these wives and children.
Right.
That's still not good for me because that makes it even worse for me, honestly.
Right.
So you just stay over there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come after you. I have no interest in retribution. My counselor says that, that's not good for anybody.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm working through my own shit.
Sure.
But please do not come home again.
Right.
Just go.
Right.
And, Jacob's like, sounds good to me. Cool.
Later.
Thanks for the beer.
Right.
I'm outies. So the most important city north of Jerusalem, based on strategic positioning between mountains and roads, is Shechem.
Okay.
So it was great that he went there.
Gotcha.
Like, it was so. I mean, this guy can't lose.
Right. Yeah.
Jacob just cannot lose. The site sets between Bless and Curse Mountain. Remember those?
Interesting.
Yeah, Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal.
Got it.
Remember?
So, yeah.
So the Romans eventually rebuilt a town near there, calling it Neapolis, which is New City.
Right.
Neo and Polis.
Right.
Which is now called Nablus. That's its present name.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Shechem rivaled Jerusalem in terms of being a sacred religious center, given it's where the first altar built by Abraham after entering Canaan sat.
Huh.
So it's pretty fucking important.
Right.
And yet, prior to reading the Bible, I've never heard of Shechem.
Right.
So.
Yeah, me either.
Awesome.
Right?
So that is it for this section.
Okay.
Of the Asimov's Guide to the Bible, the Old Testament. Next time, we will be reading pages 100 through 117.
Okay.
And that will end the book of Genesis.
Cool.
We will cover the topics of Hamor the Hivite. I hope I said that right.
Okay.
Ephrath, Bilbah, Amalek, Seir the Horite, Bela and Jobab, Potiphar, Pharaz and Zara, Pharaoh of Joseph, the river Nile, On, as in on my nerves, Goshen, Ephraim and Manasseh, and finally Judah.
Okay.
Okay? So again, that's pages 100 through 117. Hope you have picked up a copy and are reading along. Otherwise, you can just listen to me try to summarize badly.
Right. Oh, FYI, somebody had reached out to us on YouTube and asking where to find a copy of the book. And I'll be honest with you, like if you look into standard places like Amazon and stuff like that, you're probably not going to find one. Or if you do, it's going to be really freaking expensive. But I just did, like when we got ours, I just did a Google search and found one on like Google Shopping for like $8 to $15. You can find one.
You might also try thriftbooks.com, which is a really great privately owned, so not like this huge conglomerate. They often have these kind of older books, and you can get a really good deal and know that you're not buying from Amazon, so that's kind of cool.
And no, we're not being paid for any of these spots, so you're welcome.
Oh, no, not at all. I wish. Good grief. No, I get a lot of stuff from thrift books, though, and I love them with all my heart. So shout out to them. You might also check your library. Sometimes libraries have these. And keep in mind, when they first came out, they were 2 volumes. So be sure to search both ways.
Right. Yeah, you could find it in multiple different ways. There's 3 different books that you could find. The separate 2 books and then the combined book. So.
Right, and we happen to purchase the combined book, which I'm glad of.
Yeah, no, this lets us go into the whole Bible.
The whole thing at once and not have to worry about, are we going to be able to get the other half?
Right, yeah.
So good luck, and sorry I can't help you better, and thanks for playing along. See you next Saturday for Sacrilegious Book Club.
See you guys. Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.